Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight? Welcome to the Over-Under on 1252 Sports in Chicago. I'm your host, Harry the Greek, going to be giving you all the lines for this weekend's games. Tell you what, Peter, we had a really good week the past 2 weeks in the playoffs.
Yeah, we sure did. For Buccaneer fans down here locally, though, it wasn't that great, but you were exactly right. You said it best. The Rams would give them everything they could handle. On top of it, Tristan Wirfs an hour before the game being inactive. And boy, oh boy, we may have some breaking news tonight coming from Jason La Canfora.
We're going to get to it in just a second, but what? Let's talk about some more important things because it is a gambling show.
It is a gambling show. You're exactly right.
I had the NFC Championship being the 49ers and the Rams.
Yep.
Before the playoffs started.
You did.
I did not have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, we got some special guests tonight.
We do got some special guests tonight.
We're going to have
a lot of things to talk about, too.
A lot of things. We're going to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk about the two games between the NFC and the AFC championship games and who's going to go and possibly who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Our reach is all over the country right now. We're really big in the Tampa market as well as up in the Chicago market. But according to Jason La Canfora, can you believe it?
It looks like I'm trying to find the story, but it looks like Tom Brady's ready to announce his retirement. And there's been a lot of talk about it this week. You hear him talk in the Let's Go podcast about family, Giselle being there for his kids, how she gets upset when she sees him getting hit. So it seems to make sense. And, the Bucs this week, BA talking about the contingency plans, whether it's going to be Kyle Trask, Blaine Gabbert, who is on their roster right now, or big game quarterback hunting. As crazy as it sounds, Aaron Rodgers, possibly Russell Wilson or somebody else. Yep. Who knows right now? But if Tom Brady retires from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, good job. Thank you very much for what he provided for that Bucs team. I think it's disappointing to see him not go out with the Super Bowl, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. He is 44 years old, and we'll see how this transpires. But some breaking news tonight from Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports.
Yep, tell me about it. If you have a question or comment for the Greek or Pete right at the bottom of the screen, give us a call at 727-320-5866. That's 727-320-5866. Or go ahead and post a comment. We'll go ahead and read it live on the air. It might even give us a different narrative to talk about.
Sure, absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to have Roberto Hernandez on here in just about a minute. We're going to be talking about the games this weekend, and we're going to talk about the upcoming season in baseball. I mean, I always love talking to Roberto. I've known him for a while now. He's a great guy. He's got great insight. And you know what? Who's a better guy to talk about the game than a guy that's actually played it for 17 years? 320 plus saves.
Yes.
He started his career with the Anaheim Angels, but his career really didn't get started until he was traded to the Chicago White Sox.
Put it on the board. Yes.
Oh, God, stop it, please.
I had to do it. And then, of course, Tampa Bay Rays, the Atlanta Braves. I mean, lots of trips around Major League Baseball. I think what I'm interested in talking to Roberto about is how his feelings are this week on the Hall of Fame controversy with Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens not getting in, but David Ortiz getting in. So I want to hear what he has to say. It's always interesting to hear a Major League Baseball player talk about his peers. And yes, play the funk tonight. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to do it. You know why?
Because Roger's asking about it?
Nope, has nothing to do about it.
No?
Because Roger's shoe just said, play that funk.
See, I just told you. He just said that. That's the
Kyle
reason why.
Nichols says, hello, Harry and Peter. Hey, Kyle, thanks a lot for tuning in. Ben Cornett, looks like it's time to open door number 2.
Yep.
Tampa doesn't look like it's going to have a first door to open up this time. We know how we actually know how that is in Chicago, though. Let's be honest.
Well, you got Tim Weatherspoon here. This is off. He didn't type in the link, but he said would rather have Russell Wilson than douche Rogers.
Roger Shoe says bye Brady.
Yes.
Roger Shoe says Hawk sucks. Don't ever do that again. That was your impersonation.
No, he said Hawk. He's not a White Sox fan. He's a hater. It wasn't my impersonation. My impersonation wasn't that bad.
That's okay.
It's the fact he's a Cubs fan.
Hey, Roger.
He needs to be banned now for that.
Roger, I know where you live. I'll grab you, bring you to Roberto's house, and let him throw a 95-mile-an-hour beaner upside your head.
Please, can you do that?
I could.
I think he's probably taken too many balls to the head.
Kyle Nichols says, well, had Sean Payton stayed, I think Russell would have gone and still might go to New Orleans.
Well, that was the big talk also. Byron Leftwich has been requested for an interview for their head coaching job. So we'll see how that works.
Without further ado.
Yes.
I'm going to play this funky music for my boy over here because I know he likes it.
Mm-hmm. Of course he does.
Introducing Mr. Roberto Hernandez.
What's up, guys?
Got that funk going on for your brother?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Come on. Yeah. Let's see the head roll.
Come on, you got it.
I'm the only guy that can get Roberto Hernandez to do it. Roberto, how are you, brother, man?
I'm doing good. Feels like you guys should be at an after-hour bar or something.
We should be.
Yeah, with that funk.
This is 12:52 after dark.
After dark. Oh, yeah.
We don't want to repeat what Fat Mike says.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Can we not? Can we not?
No, trust me, it's coming.
And Fat Mike stands for F-bomb, Mike.
F-bomb Mike?
F-bomb Mike, yeah.
Roberto,
Yo.
I'm going to go ahead and ask you a couple of questions before we get going. We're going to go ahead and read some of these comments really quick. Troy Palomalu says, people are saying Giselle will have the last word on whether Brady leaves or stays. You American men are Malakas, us Greeks. We tell our wives, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This guy right here, he's cruising for a bruising. Honestly,
trying to get my ass.
I don't think Troy has a wife. Honestly, I don't. I don't think you have a wife, bro. Because if you're thinking like that, it's always about on the sports web and on various shows I've done. Happy wife, happy life.
Is that how that goes, Roberto?
Oh yeah.
Or hang on, because I know your wife's watching. Is that how it really goes, Roberto?
Oh yeah, 100%.
What's the famous 2 words we tell our spouses?
I do.
Oh, no, yes, dear. Hey, Roberto, I think I need a new kitchen.
Exactly.
Yes, dear.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, honey, we need to go see Harry at Tires Plus because I need 4 tires. No problem.
No problem. Dear. Sure. Yeah.
Roger Shoe says Jalen Hurts to the Bucks and Peter's future Russian wife.
I love the Russian wives. Love them, man. Boom, Nugo. Love them.
Facebook user says, why do y'all think Jameis Winston's next spot is?
And that's David Moser.
That's a great question. I'm going to ask Roberto. Do you think Jameis Winston plays for New Orleans next year, or do you think someone else picks him up?
That's a tough question. I mean, if Sean Payton was still there, most likely, but he's not there. Who knows?
He's going to be their best option, to be honest with you, because
I think so.
Well, I think they're. Right, either Taysom Hill, but now that Peyton's not there anymore, can they build an offense around Taysom Hill? I think they've seen the limitations that he has. Jameis Winston, before he got injured, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, doing a good job. Can he do that for another team? Pittsburgh Steelers seem like a possible spot, and people keep on trying to put him back with the Bucs. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We'll see.
I don't think it's happening here.
No,
No,
I don't see it.
Not with now. Arians already had him, so and he upgraded.
Sure.
In his mind.
Right.
If Jameis doesn't get hurt, I think the Saints make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't lose those
without question.
Yeah.
With that defense almost got him into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
That defense paid unbelievable. Ben Cornett says Eberflus sounds like a bad digestive system that the Bear fans will have to stomach for a while. That's not even funny.
No, it's not.
Tony Williams says the Great Harry and Pete Show. Gotta love it. Hi, guys. Bear down, boys. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for tuning in.
We got something here from Roger Shue. You just sent this in. Read that on air. Can you believe that?
Roger Shue says 100 years ago today, the Decatur Staleys became the Chicago Bears. My friend's son, who was 13 years old, loves Chicago history. He's not a sports fan like me, but his father, who's a sports nut, asked me to post this photo, and they found the internet. I said, absolutely. Vanished Chicagoland. Who is that?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Vanished Chicagoland. That tweeted it out there. So there you go. Good stuff there, Roger. Thanks a lot for the tweet.
Roger,
we appreciate it.
That would be awesome. Facebook user says, I've seen some earlier where it said Pittsburgh might be looking to trade for Taysom Hill. You know what? I have Pittsburgh earmarked for one of the teams.
Gets Aaron Rodgers.
Nope. Well, believe it or not, Mitchell Trubisky.
Really?
Yep. They're really high on him.
Okay.
Christian, thanks a lot for tuning in, Christian. E-Bear. Oh, I understand. E-Bears lose. Say it quickly. Funny.
Yeah.
Kyle Nicole. They need to promote Dennis Allen, the head coach, and work from there. And Jameis ain't coming back because BA said he will be back next year. And now they might not have an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator soon, but we will see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and touch on that really quick. And
Let's do it.
If they lose both Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles,
mm-hmm.
I think Roberto has to agree with me. BA is gone, isn't he?
I believe so.
Wow.
So. It's hard to replace guys like that. It's not easy.
Well, what they're thinking is BA would call the plays as the offensive coordinator, whether Brady's there or not, and then they would hire from within with a guy like Larry Foote, who has played with the Pittsburgh Steelers, linebacker, of course, Arizona Cardinals, had some success. He may be ready to go. And look, at the end of the day, the way that Bucs defense got off the field and was disappointing, not able to get off the field and stop a Cooper Kupp, maybe it is time for a change. And of course, these assistants, you're not going to be able to hold them back if they get a coaching job somewhere. Bowles gets a job with the Raiders or Minnesota, and Byron Leftwich goes to Jacksonville or goes to the Saints. You can't stop that from happening. And even BA talked about it last year. He was happy for his assistants getting those opportunities, and they should get those opportunities. They deserve it.
What do you think, Roberto?
There's way too many jobs open.
Sure.
Somebody's going to take a hit.
Absolutely.
Look at how good Buffalo this year. They, offensively and defensively, they're rumored to lose both their OC and DC. It might happen here.
Yeah.
You got, what is it, 9 jobs that were available?
Yeah.
Well, we heard Rich Bisaccia may be the special teams coach. Of course, he being with the Bucs and John Gruden, and also with the Raiders being their head coach. So that's a good get by the Chicago Bears there. So lots of jobs, lots of moving and shaking going on in the offseason as it's starting up. And of course, we've got 2 games pretty important on Sunday, the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. But lots of stuff going on right now, and I think it's just interesting. And what's the coach's name again for the Chicago Bears? Hold on a minute.
Eberflus.
Hold on. New Chicago Bears head coach.
Coachy.
Well, it's not going. Hold on. It just got to work.
The Bears on Thursday.
Okay, hold on. New Chicago Bears head coach, Google.
Matt Eberflus.
Yeah,
okay, so there you go. You see, you got the correct pronunciation because I didn't know how to say the guy's name. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to
Troy Polamalu, King Troy himself says, Bears missed out on Flores, Watson, big time. Christian says, with that said, I can't judge the move yet. Roger Shue, he's got a podcast all about Chicago history. Awesome follow on Twitter and podcast. Kyle, Tampa does need to make Richard Sherman a coach of some sort. I don't agree with that. Facebook user said, Richard Sherman, next defensive coordinator. I don't know who's saying this, but zero chance.
I'm not ready to say zero chance because of maybe a cornerback coach or something like that. But I'm not ready to say zero chance of a coach on the staff. He's already coached this staff.
Troy says the Buccaneers are big time trouble. They owe millions to Antonio Brown for emotional damages. Any input on that? Roberto's laughing. Any input on Antonio Brown being owed millions for emotional distress?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said the best. Yeah. Roberto, what did you think of that display? I mean, you're an athlete. Have you ever seen that in your time of playing baseball or any sport? It's completely embarrassing, right?
That would never flush in the clubhouse. For damn sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically throwing in the towel, jumping ship on your teammates.
Without question.
I can understand if you got something against some grief, some gripe against management for walking out on your teammate. That's a taboo. That's a no-no. In any sport.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not amazed by.
Breaking news on 1252 Sports Chicago.
News sign. That was
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And the breaking news of the night, in case you missed it, we were coming in. We got Roberto Hernandez, who's played for various teams, the Tampa Bay Rays locally, Chicago White Sox, the good guys, in his opinion. Great closer here. According to Jason La Canfora, Tom Brady is ready and possibly could be making this announcement in a couple days to retire from the National Football League. Wow.
Roberto, before I even get to another guest to bring him in here, is it time or no? Honestly.
For him,
yeah.
Only time knows, man. I was fortunate enough to play when I was up to 43. But I knew it's, for me, it was like, do I want to continue to do this and travel and have sleepless nights? It was time for me. I could have played one more year, maybe two. But
how hard were you throwing at 43 still?
Between 93 and 95, some occasionally 96. But
wow.
When you broke into the league?
But the biggest thing was my arm felt great. The rest of my body felt like crap.
Oh yeah.
And there's aches and pains, man. When it takes you a good 15 to 20 minutes just to get up from bed because your legs and your back are sore, you start thinking about it. And maybe it's time. In his mind, it's time for him to go. But the season he had this year, it didn't seem like he's ready to go.
No, 43 touchdowns and very little interceptions and also success. I still feel like if they had Chris Godwin there, another good wide receiver.
You mean Antonio Brown?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
If they had Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin at that point, and I don't think that's the Bucs' fault. It's just the way it happens. And bad luck.
Physically, he probably still thinking, but it maybe it's up here where he's like, mentally, do I want to go through this again? All the turmoil he had to go through. Maybe that scene with Antonio Brown and not having the players there to make a decent run. How many more Super Bowls can you win? He's won 7, isn't it?
Yeah, 7. Yep, 6 with the Patriots and 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're exactly right.
There's no quarterback's going to reach him. I don't
Right.
think so.
Right.
Mahomes,
How can
Mahomes
they?
got to win 6 more.
Right. Well, you never say never at this point because sports always is changing. But in those
Before,
2
let me ask you guys, before Mahomes,
mm-hmm.
when Green Bay, when Rodgers won his first one, by now, how many you think he would have had? And he's
Listen.
still stuck in one.
That's a great question, but I will tell you this much. Patrick Mahomes won't even see 6 more AFC championship games. That's just my opinion.
I mean, parity is prevalent in the NFL, and you also look at the quarterback matchup with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're going to have a stake in that. Who knows what other quarterback will come alive? I mean, Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals.
That team is just a couple of players away.
Correct.
That's offensive line and
Correct.
defensive line.
Correct. So
Yeah.
it may be certainly possible that Patrick Mahomes doesn't see that. So what we've seen right now with Tom Brady is amazing. I want to ask you, was that the toughest decision you had to make, is walk away? Because you knew physically you could do it, but mentally you weren't all there. Was that the toughest decision in your life to do?
I don't think it was the toughest in my life. I think I want, also, I saw the writing on the wall where it was more being catered to the younger guys that you couldn't, some of the younger guys that, that I played with towards the end of my career were the type of guys that you couldn't tell them that they were doing something wrong because they knew it all. They were that type of guys. If I had the guys like I did when I played in Pittsburgh, and in Cleveland, where they were eager to learn, and put in the work, I think I would have played that next year. But I saw that everything was changing. And I said, I'm glad I came up in the era that I did come up, where young guys were seen and not heard. And you learned a whole lot just by watching and listening.
Yeah, tell me about it. He's right.
Yeah.
Before we get to any more questions, I don't want to be rude. I'm going to take them out of the green room. I'm going to bring them up. Okay. Everybody, hold on to your seats. Put on your seatbelt. Because live and in person is Mr. Fat Mike himself. 1252 Sports.
Hey, Fat Mike, welcome.
Oh yeah. Where's my porno music?
Oh yeah. Play the music. Play the
Vin
funk.
Diesel, baby. The 6 prick. You got all that right. You got it all right. What's going on, guys? How's it going? Les, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's all about family.
How you doing, Mike?
It's all about the family. Get really weird.
What do you think you're Vin
really
Diesel
creepy,
from
fast.
the Furious 5, whatever the hell it was?
The Furious 5.
dude.
Fast and the Furious.
That's it.
He's about 3 inches shorter than I am. Yeah, we got it going now.
Oh God.
Yeah, Fast 5. If that's the porno you guys like, all right, that's cool.
That wasn't a porno.
No, it definitely wasn't. The
Anyway.
Furious 5 there. What is that?
I'm sure it
Rap
was.
group
I'm
from the
sure
80s?
I'm sure there's a porno copy.
Well, probably will
I'm sure
be
there's a porno
eventually,
copy of it
which-
somewhere.
If you have a question or a comment for the Greek repeat, when I ask Roberto Hernandez a question, Mike, I know you don't want to ask him anything. Dial 727-320-5866.
Yes.
I'm your host, Harry the Greek. Thanks for tuning into the Over-Under on a Friday night. I'm sure you have other better things to do, like Roberto. I mean, I know he'd rather be cracking one back, sipping back. But you know what? There's nothing to watch on TV. There's no sports. What are you going to watch? Hockey.
Listen, he can crack open a beer right now. What are we talking about here?
He can do whatever he wants to. I mean, if he's going to throw a 93, 95 mile per hour ball at your head.
He can sit there and fart with camera for all we want. It's a go. It's good to go.
Yeah. Hold on a sec.
So, anyway,
Uh-oh.
Roberto, got a question for you.
You got it.
For the people that don't know exactly how you broke into the league, when you were drafted by the Angels, you were a first-round draft pick. Take us through that. How many years were you in the minors before you got the call?
6 long years.
6 long years.
Mm.
And you turn out to be one of the greatest closers of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
Okay, I can make that guy blush.
Well, numbers don't lie. I mean, the numbers are right there, and I think we're getting a call right
Oh,
now.
we have a call coming in. Stand by.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for calling the Over-Under. I'm your host, Harry the Greek. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ed from Palm Harbor.
Ed.
Mr. Ed.
Ed. Mr. Ed from the 60s?
Yes.
Call him Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed. Yeah, we need to get our sound effects.
Tell me about it.
We need to get you some sound effects. I need to hook you up.
I don't need the sound effects.
You need the sound effects.
Will you shut up?
Would you shut up?
I don't need any sound
Stop
effects.
trying to steal
Oh
my stuff.
God. Steal your stuff.
Yeah,
I'll
steal my.
you.
Yeah, steal this.
Ed, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, I just came on to the show. I logged in and I heard a tail end something about Brady announcing his retirement.
No,
He hasn't announced it yet.
Listen to the story.
Not
This
yet.
is breaking news.
You know, this is funny. Brady's might announce his retirement, and I got Roberto Hernandez on the phone. He doesn't want to know about Roberto, does he?
Well, I think he still
Hold
wants
on.
Oh my
Hold
God,
on.
it is Roberto.
Yeah, no shit. It's Roberto.
It's Roberto Hernandez. Yes, he's on
What's
with
up,
us.
man?
Yeah, go ahead, talk to him.
That's back when I actually watched the race.
Well, see, there you go.
Hold on. Roberto, hable español or hable inglés?
Cualquiera, either or.
Okay,
I
good.
can do both.
That's just for you. That's just for you, Ed.
You guys are great, man. You got Roberto Hernandez, one of the greatest race players ever.
Whoa.
Tell him
Hold on.
about it.
Thank
Right.
you.
Hold on.
He says Rays. You heard that? Not the White Sox, even though he did make his hay with the White Sox.
Hold on. He had 167 saves with the White Sox.
How many
100
saves did he have with the Rays?
About 60 less.
Okay, but he's
It's
still.
all right. I still like him.
He sucked as a. I didn't mean that, Roberto.
Look,
he was
when
a,
the
he
look,
was a Chicago
I
White
understand
Sox.
where Ed's
Oh,
coming
yeah.
from here because there weren't any great plays on the Rays besides a Roberto Hernandez.
You had
Right.
Fred McGriff.
That's true. Fred
Nah,
McGriff was good.
He was
Yeah.
all right.
Crime dog.
Crime Dog, who belongs in the Hall of Fame, by the
Yeah,
way.
he was one of my
Yes,
favorite
he
races.
He does. 493 homers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sheffield.
Sheffield wasn't on the Rays.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
That's
he was
not
on
right.
the other-
Yeah, that's he was on the Marlins.
the other
you're
Florida
thinking
team
of.
that
of.
doesn't matter.
Yes.
The other Florida
You know,
team that doesn't matter.
You know, since you
The
did
reason
bring up.
why I said
Yeah.
Sheffield is that I actually painted his driveway. He had a house in St. Pete
Mhm.
on Falls Point, and I painted his driveway.
Oh,
And I didn't meet him; he wasn't there, but I painted his driveway.
well,
you?
hopefully you painted it well.
I know Roberto's looking for a landscaper. You ready?
Hold on, I got a
Nah,
question. I have a
that's not
question.
Landscaping.
I have a legit question.
Yeah,
Why
go
are we
ahead.
painting driveways?
Though they do that
Why
here
was
in
I
Florida.
painting a driveway? Because
No, they do that in Florida.
It was a part-time job.
But that's
You
a
know, I
thing.
had to work 2 jobs
Yes.
because I was a single dad. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
They
No,
paint
I'm
and pave
not.
driveways.
I'm not calling you out on what you did for work. I'm not calling you out on that. But that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
people
Why
like
are
to
we
paint
painting driveways?
Why does it matter?
Yeah, they do. They stain driveways. They paint them. They do all different kinds of things with them. But we're going on to the next question. Not a question, but Roberto, while I have Ed on the phone, which is pretty cool, and I think Ed would get a kick out of this, there was a particular player that played with Roberto on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Uh-huh.
And it was Roberto had heard all of these stories. And I'm sure you know which one I want to talk about. Roberto, it has something to do with a little bit of alcohol and where he put it all.
Oh, Wade.
Wade Boggs.
Wade Boggs.
Listen to this story, guys.
All right,
This is
let's
good.
listen. Let's listen to this story. I want to hear this.
We're on a flight from, I think, from leaving Tampa to California, and Wade's in the back, and he's putting back about 30-something beers. And I heard the rumors in the past that he can drink maybe 2 cases without getting up and going to the bathroom. So I just did walk back, and because he was a few rows behind me, so I made sure I counted almost 2 cases, and SOB never got up to go take a pee. That's not human. That's unheard of. I would have exploded after 12. And he kept popping them back and never went to the bathroom.
That's almost hilarious. And then you guys went out to dinner, like a 4-course meal.
He had a 4-course meal, had another 12-pack, and didn't flinch to go to the bathroom.
And
I
who was this?
would have thrown up.
That
Wade
was
Boggs.
Boggs.
Wade Boggs.
Oh.
Yes, Wade Boggs. So again, Ed, to summarize what the story was of the breaking news of the night, according to Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports, Brady could be announcing his retirement in the next couple of days. He's prepared to announce his retirement, so we'll see what happens. We'll have it right here, either on the sports web.
Speculation, or does he actually have a tip?
That is
Usually when Jason La Canfora states something,
yeah.
It's there. Where there's smoke, there's
Pretty
fire.
close to some people there in that circle, and it looks like it. And you read those comments the other night, and I wouldn't be surprised. So we'll see.
What the Bucks are gonna do, man?
They don't
have a quarterback on their roster that's like ready to go.
Well, they got Blaine
Kyle
Gabbert and
Trask,
Kyle
baby.
Trask. There you go.
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trash.
Come on,
Kyle Trask.
Come on, man. Trash is a
Trask.
project player.
Trask, not Trash, but yeah,
Trask.
you're exactly right. Kyle Trask may not be able to come in right away and start. And look, he's second-year quarterback, drafted in the second round. We'll see what happens with this team, but they also may go big quarterback shopping for possibly an Aaron Rodgers, a Russell Wilson, or somebody like that.
They don't have the money to spend on him.
They will if Brady and Gronk and all these people are off the roster.
Gronk's going to retire.
They could. And everybody keeps on talking about cap with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. They're very cap friendly, and they know how to redo contracts, restructure deals, push the money down the road. And on top of it, the cap is increasing every year. So when people say they're in cap trouble, I don't believe it until I see it.
Ed, do you have any questions for Roberto? Because we'll let you use the second call here in a little while.
Yeah, what year did you play?
With who?
I remember you being on the team for a short time, but I can't remember what year it was.
With the Rays, it was the first 3 years, 98 to 2000.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's correct.
Yeah. You were a closer, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep, I remember you.
Greatest closer in Rays history.
Great,
yeah.
Man. I don't want to hear what anybody says about Roberto. He was great.
Thank you.
It was good meeting you guys.
And you painted his driveway, Ed. So there you go. You did a good job, my
he
friend.
Didn't paint Roberto's
I seriously didn't know that was a thing.
Who do you paint? Who's Sheffield? Okay, my bad.
Sheffield, down in St. Pete.
Okay.
I really didn't know that was a thing.
Never live on Pinellas Point. Roberto's, hold on, guys.
Look, I don't know. You mean you're updating the information here? Time out to you. All right, you take a time out. Go in the corner over there.
I mean, what are you guys doing painting driveways? This is the very first time
we're talking about driveways.
Like
you want to play some funk music?
Do something. I feel like we're watching paint dry after talking about painting driveways.
Like I said, I wasn't shitting on the caller. I just didn't know that was a fucking thing. Like I've never heard of that before in my entire life.
You're filthy rich. Who cares?
Yeah, but that's the wrong neighborhood.
Listen, buddy, I'm not shitting on you. I'm not shitting on you, pal. I don't care what you do for a living. You could tuck dicks for all I care. I don't care.
Stop, Mike.
All right, I don't care what you do. I didn't know that painting driveways was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I'm saying. This is fucking new news to me. This is
Hey Ed, we love you, brother.
We'll talk to you later.
See you, buddy.
All right, later.
Yeah, later. Oh, Jesus.
Fat Mike.
That was good. That was great.
In Arizona, people don't have lawns; they have rocks, and they paint the rocks green.
Yeah, fucking these people, man. I tell you.
And just for some clarity,
my buddy moved out to Colorado a few years back, and he's like, "I'm zero scaping." I was like, "So what? You're shaving your balls?" he's like, "No,
People
dude."
that don't know this,
He said tucked.
Listen, I'm sorry. You guys brought me on. This is what you get. All right, this is what you get. It's me all the fucking time. I don't know what you guys want. All right, it's me. See this right here? Right there.
I
Fat
seen
Mike
him do the
Chicago.
breaking
All
news the other
fucking
day when Chicago hired their coach.
Mhm.
I think about 3 sentences he got out. He mispronounced the guy's name like 3 times, which is funny. And then on top of it,
Elmer's glue.
he said the F word in that 3 times. And I was on the phone at my other job, and I was laughing. People thought I was having like a stroke or something because I was laughing so hard. I was nearly falling off the ground.
I missed it. But anyway, I need a little bit of clarity. My boys never lived in the slums at Pinellas Point, okay?
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't care. I don't
Pinellas
care
Point's a very nice area, but it's not
Roberto
Roberto area.
I don't care what he's doing. I don't care if he's tugging dicks, flipping pricks, whatever he does. As long as he's painting driveways, he's got money in his pocket, right?
Vin Diesel, baby. Vin Diesel.
We're going to go to some of the
5'6"
comments
with a
really
2-foot
quick
brick.
because this has really gone south quick. Troy Polamalu says the Buccaneers are in big trouble. They owe millions to Antonio Brown for emotional damages. Pig Dog Video 2001. Harry, Stafford is minus 210 to throw for more yards on Sunday than Jimmy G. Is Stafford free money? Yes.
Okay.
Without question.
I agree.
I
mean,
love
over
Big
300
Dog.
yards,
Big Dog's my
366
guy.
yards versus the Bucks.
But the problem with that is that you're going to have to lay 2-1 on your money. No, I'm not going to say it's free. I'm going to tell you one thing: the Greek ain't he's not laying 2-1 money on something like that.
No proposition bet for you at all?
No, there's a lot of proposition bets that I would be interested in. I'm not really prepared to give them out today because I really haven't looked. I'm still having a hard enough time to figure out. Look,
what are you doing over there, tucking?
Tucking. Yeah. Roberto and I are hanging out tucking. Are you out of your tree? Hang on, ready? Wait, fold it in half. Here I go. Look at this poor guy. Is there an adult in the room?
You wish.
Jesus.
Well, you wish.
Troy Polamalu says he's also leaving. Facebook user. If Leftwich and Bowles leave, then by the time Bruce Arian leaves, there'll be no good coaches left by then.
Easy. Relax, everybody. Relax.
Roger Shue says free Antonio Brown.
The fucking
From
guy's
what?
freed.
His
Roger
sanity
Shue. He's
or his
freed.
insanity? What is he talking about?
Hey,
Free
guys.
what?
Yes,
Yes.
he's freed. He's freed. He's on his fucking own. He's living in the
One
life,
at a time.
waiting for a team to call him.
Christian says, "Wake me up when it's not Jason LaConfora making the report." Hey, he might have a point.
Well, I guess.
Roger Shue says, "Bye, Brady. Creamsicle days are back."
You know what? I really hate you,
They should
Roger.
go
I
back
just want to
those
tell you that.
jerseys. They should.
Troy
go back to those
Polamalu
jerseys.
says, "Big Mike said he wants a Champa Bay shirt."
That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna send that. I think that is true, Troy. It's probably one of the best statements you ever made.
Yeah, you know what?
got
I do
you
want one. I do want one where I can full blown video post me taking a dump and wiping my ass with it and fucking posting it
Oh
online.
man,
What else do you expect
Tampa
from a Cub
Bay.
fan? Anything with more etiquette?
No.
I didn't think so. He's you know
That's
what?
a one-word
Roberto, this
answer.
guy's a
No.
South Sider who roots for the Cubs. Is there such a thing?
Oh, that's blasphemy.
It is.
No,
Now,
no,
let me ask you another
South
question.
Sider?
Right, baby.
What would Ozzy do knowing that Mike is a South Sider?
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Christian
I know, I'm
says
trouble.
JLC's completion percentage lately has been worse than Caleb Haney's in the NFC Championship game in 2010 versus the Packers. Okay. Christian says, I'm thinking TB12 has one more year left in him. No, he's gone.
well, we'll see.
Roger Shue says, just remember, Ric Flair still has 9 more world championships than Tom Brady.
flying.
Yes, jet flying, but he also has 10 more losses than Tom Brady.
Right.
That's true. And for the next comment, I got to play the fun.
Play the funk. Play it.
Mr. Steven Glasker.
I get to see him rolling, you know.
What up, fellas? Love the
Yeah.
show.
Steven Glasker, baby. Down in Texas, Tampa Bay fan.
Steven Glasker.
Another one.
Texas, Tampa Bay. Oh, yeah.
Steven, go ahead and call into the show if you'd like. Actually, I'm going to send you the link to the show. You guys are just horrible, man. I just don't
Texas, Tampa
understand
Bay,
this.
Steven
I
Glasker.
bring on a special guest, and it just goes right.
It's
in the
not
gutter.
Glasker. It's Steven Glasker.
It's not me. I didn't do it. I'm just laughing about it. That's all.
Okay, but you just like went in the gutter. I
Stop tucking it.
Listen,
Stop tucking
yeah, yeah. Unfold it, pal.
Roberto, do you believe this? Roger Shue says, Roberto, you went to the wrong side of town. Go Cubs, go. What's your response to
Roger
that, sir?
Shue, that's what's up, baby.
Well,
No
what's up.
chance, my friend. Day games.
No chance.
So
Way too many day games.
I want to bring up some baseball here. I know that we're in like a chaotic fucking mess that we got going on here because of me, but Roberto, you played for the Sox, you played for a bunch of other teams, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay Rays, Kansas City Royals. You were all over the place. You were a journeyman in the MLB of the 90s. What was your favorite team to play for? What organization treated you the best? Who were the best guys that you had to play for?
Guys or organization?
Organization. Who was the best organization that you played for?
I have to say Chicago. You know, they're right there. All right, mainly because I played the longest there, and you got to make relationships, you know, and then meet people and then work with them day in, day out.
Right.
You know, when I went through my blood clot thing, you know, they had the best training staff prepared for that. So, and and guys like Bo Jackson that had hip replacement, you know, went through Herm Schneider and their training staff. And playing with Ozzie and Frank, Joey, Robin, Jack McDowell, Carlton Fish, Tim Raines. I mean, we weren't just teammates. We're almost like families. We bickered back and forth, but once we crossed the line, we had each of us had each back.
Right.
And that's what's
it stayed true.
What was it like to play with Ozzie again, Roberto?
Yeah. What was it like to play with Ozzie? Because I can't understand. That guy always talks like he's got a mouthful of marbles.
But the one thing about Ozzie is that he had your back, and he would always, if he liked you, he would always protect you. But if he didn't like you, you on an island, and Ozzie had some clout. Ozzie had a lot of clout.
Even when he was a player.
Even when he was a player, man, he was a team captain, and he would protect the young guys and teach them the ropes.
So, Roberto, a couple of years back, there was some shit here in Chicago here, and I'm gonna phrase.
I'm gonna plug in let me plug in my computer because it's gonna die.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing I want to bring up to Roberto here is what it was like working with Cooper, Don Cooper.
I had Cooper in the minor leagues.
Right, and a couple of years back, there was a shitstorm here with Cooper that would happen with Michael Kopech, and he talked about his mental health and stuff like that. Kind of weighed on.
A fan of Cooper, I can tell you that.
And I want to ask you, what was your interaction with Don Cooper? Because he was here for a long time here with the Chicago White Sox. What was your interaction with
Cooper? With me, since I was in the big leagues, we got along great. Cooper was in charge of the minor leagues. I'm telling you, when I was with him when he was in the minor leagues, he was one of the best coordinators. He knew his stuff, and he still, even in the big leagues, he knew his stuff.
Okay.
Once I left, I wasn't privy to all what was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But, let me tell you this. Getting to the big leagues is somewhat easy. Hardest thing is staying. And mentally, you have to be tough because you got guys coming after your job.
Right.
And if you don't do your job or if you can't deal with failure, you're screwed. You have to learn how to deal with failure in the big show. And then I saw that happen to Alex Hernandez.
Wow.
Jeez, I haven't heard that name in years.
Great pitcher.
But it happened to him.
Okay.
It happened to him in the big leagues, and he got sent down.
Right.
It happened to me, but it happened to me in the minor leagues, and I had to learn how to deal with my struggles. So you have to. It's better to deal with your struggles early and get over them. Before you get to the big league.
Right. That call that you got, Roberto, when you finally broke the big leagues, when you finally broke the big league roster, what was that like for you being a young player, getting your cutting edge, cutting your teeth, and moving into the MLB? That had to be absolutely unbelievable for you.
I cried because prior
tell them the story because I know the story. This is a really good story.
Let us know what it was like. I mean,
tell them where you were at, the whole 9 yards.
1991, we're going to spring training, and it's a cool spring morning. It's like in the 50s, and I'm having trouble feeling my fingers. And I tell the pitching coach at that time, which was Sammy Ellis, and Dave LaRoche was our bullpen guy. I said, guys, I can't feel my fingers. I don't know what's going on. And he said, shit, Roberto, you better get used to that shit. Because when we get to Chicago, it's going to be in the 30s. I pay no mind to it. And then, you know, everything went along, and then it started warming up, and then, you know, come into the, you know, close to leaving camp, I get sent to AAA, which I knew was going to happen. You know, they had way too many guys on the roster, you know, that they couldn't cut or they wanted to test. So I get to Vancouver, and I have hardly any circulation or no feeling in my thumb and my two fingers, my middle finger and my pointer finger. And I pitch, and I wind up pitching with it. You know, I was 5-0. You know, and then pitching in Edmonton, my thumb turns purple. Ooh, and God. I can't feel my middle finger and my, you know. So I walked off the mound. You know, and that was the only loss I had. You know, got back to Vancouver. You know, went to a doctor, and the doctor sent me to University of British Columbia Medical Center and talked to a cardiovascular surgeon, and she said, "It sounds like you have a blood clot." And I'm like, when she said blood clot, all that came in my mind was J.R. Richard. You know, pitching on the mound and having a freaking stroke because of blood clot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm
like, and then she told me, you know, what saved me was pitching in the cold. Because if I would have been in a warm weather climate, blood clot tends to travel
like Tampa Bay.
Yeah, tends to travel in the heat. So it would have eventually went into my heart.
Right. See, Tampa Bay would have killed you at that point.
Yeah.
See, exactly.
So
I want it to be known and on record that Tampa Bay would have killed Roberto Hernandez.
Well, my thing was that, you know, our next trip that we were making, the next trip from Vancouver, we were going to Tucson, Phoenix, and Las Vegas.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what? But you didn't really tell them the story when you actually got called up.
Yeah.
Well,
you made your first start against the.
What was it like?
Really go through the dramatics of that call up.
My call up was that I got called up the same day that Bo Jackson made his return.
Yep.
From hip surgery.
Right.
And we're playing Kansas City. So I walk into the clubhouse, and there's about damn near 150 reporters. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And it felt like you were in it, you know, it was like a playoff thing. No, but
because all the attention was on Bo Jackson,
right?
And I remember Dick Schaap. Dick Schaap was there to interview Bo, and everything was about Bo's return. I'm like, and we're playing Kansas City. And it's a Thursday night game on ESPN, the only game in town at 8:00. So I go out there, and I'm throwing a no-hitter through 6. And Carlton Fisk tries to drag bunt, and he bunted the ball, bad angle and all. It went from the bat to his eye.
Oh, Jesus.
So he had a swollen eye, and they took him out. Very first batter I faced in the top of the 7th hits a double, and it wasn't George Brett. It wasn't Kevin Seitzer. It wasn't Danny Tartable. It was Bill Pecota.
So the Pecota projections.
I'm like, all right, I give up a base hit to Bill Pecota for my first, you know.
It wasn't a base hit. It was an extra base hit.
It's an extra base hit.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to shit on you there. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you know, when you're losing a no-no as a rookie on your debut, you know, right. I'm like, it was either Gibson or freaking George Brett, but it was neither. You know, but that was in my mind. But, you know, I wind up pitching 7 innings. I won my game. Then after the game, this same 150 reporters that was in Bo Jackson's locker were in mine.
Yep.
After the game.
That's fucking awesome.
It was you know, and it was most memorable to this day. It's like my highlight of my career.
Roberto,
That's fucking
question. Who was the best Chicago pitcher you were around on the starting rotation? That's not a fair question to say in the bullpen because honestly, look,
that's not
I
a
was
fair
always
question
a
'cause you
fan
never
of
played
Bobby
with the Cubs
Thigpen.
either. Because Red
I
Sutcliffe
played-
was the man.
I played with Bobby Thigpen down here in Florida when after you retired, just in some pickup games we used to have here in Clearwater.
Sure.
And the guy could throw still. Okay, but he didn't have near the velocity that he had when he was in Chicago. So other than a bullpen pitcher being yourself, who was the best starting pitcher you were around in a White Sox uniform?
I mean, it's hands down Jack McDowell.
But nothing personal. The Blue Jays owned him like a
Yeah,
redheaded
well, I
stepchild.
mean, I know. I mean, but there's always one team for each pitcher.
Yeah, they beat him like a fucking snare drum.
Yeah, I know. And they beat him and they beat Alex, and I'm like, if we can just sneak one, but it was, that Jack had balls of steel.
Yes, he did.
That skinny SOB will go out there. If he gives up 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and then all of a sudden you look up, damn, it's the 8th inning and he's still in there, but he gave up the 5 runs in the first 2. Didn't give up anything else. I've seen him win games 8-6 where he give up 6 runs in the first 3 innings and he battles and he doesn't, and then he winds up throwing complete games. Man, how the hell do you do that?
Right.
Normal people just they just throw in the towel, but he doesn't.
So
The best game I've ever saw from him in Milwaukee. This is when I'm doing my rehab. First pitch of the game, Paul Molitor deposited in the left field bleacher. First pitch of the game.
Paul Molitor, yeah, no shit.
Then the SOB retires the next 27 batters in a row.
Good Lord.
Jesus.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you do this shit?
Shit.
First pitch of the games is a round
It's a
trip.
yaya. It's a yaya,
Yeah.
baby.
The next 27 batters are out.
That's nuts.
Jesus.
So he threw a 1-hitter, 1 run.
Yeah, a perfect game after that homer.
No
Nobody
shit.
reached base.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. Is that the pitcher that you learned the most from in Major League Baseball, in your opinion, or is it somebody else?
I learned from a whole bunch of them, man.
Yeah.
You'd pick and choose from, Charlie Huff would always talk to me. Here's a knuckleballer talking to me and telling
He
me.
was also
what I
the
need
guy
to
that stood there had a fucking file in his back pocket and Vaseline on the brim of his cap.
do.
I think you're referring to Wilbur Wood.
From Bobby Thigpen, he helped me out a lot. Scott Radinsky,
Rad man.
you know.
You know what? He was a really underrated player. Redemption.
I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot, and then the thing about what made me humble and what I understood that every day you have to learn something new when you go to the ballpark.
Right.
Because if you don't learn something new, it becomes stale, and then you take everything for granted. It's basically like right now, everybody's worried that Tom's going to retire. But I guarantee you, every time he went to the facilities, he was picking up something new. When you think you know everything, it's time to go. It's time to retire.
What was the most important thing that you learned in Major League Baseball from those pitchers and those players that you played with?
Believe in yourself.
Okay.
And use what God gave you. If Charlie Huff told me and Carlton Fisk said, use it or you're going to lose it. And me being wet behind the ear, and what the hell are you talking about? You got a good fastball.
It's not that you only threw hard. I mean, look, I love the game of baseball. You know that. You and I could sit down and talk for hours about baseball. As a matter of fact, that's what we do. But you threw such a heavy ball, man. I mean, it was like Mariano Rivera was known, to break bats because the cutter always came in. And he used to hit that one sweet spot of the bat when you swing.
Yeah.
When you swung the bat, it would break the bat. But man, the way Roberto pitched, it seems like he had more batters beating the ball into the ground.
He had torque. He had torque on those pitches. I mean,
it's just I don't know what it was.
How did you take care?
Such a thing as a heavy ball,
right?
But it looked like he was throwing a softball out there, and you just couldn't hit it.
Roberto, you had a consistent career with throwing 95, 96, and upwards of 100 miles an hour. How did you take care of yourself so your arm was able to do that for so long?
I played
in Major League Baseball.
I played a lot of long toss. I did my exercises, and I did not do a lot of heavy lifting during the season.
Okay.
Guys work out. But I did this, what the training staff and the weight, the strength and conditioning coach said in the big league said, do what you do best and be consistent. If you like the ice after the game or work out after the game, do it. If you like to work out before the game, do it. But be consistent. And I love to play long toss, to keep my arms, that was my lifting, basically during the summer. Now in the spring and the off season, I would go into the gym and, not bulk up, but, get ready and do my heavier lifting, with the legs and the upper body. But once the season started, the only lifting I did was that baseball to make sure that I was ready. Because I wanted, if I had the chance to save opportunities of 80 games, I wanted to be counted to be on those 80 games. I wanted to be there. I look at games now, and sometimes I'm like, I wonder, how would I survive, in this day and age of baseball when you got starters that are only going 5 innings or 4 innings and they think it's a great job? No, we weren't brought up in that mentality. We were brought up that the starters, you had your starters, your setup man, and your closer. And closers, if back when I pitched, if we had 8 games in a row to save, there was not one closer would say, I need a day. I'll take the day off when we're not, the game's not close.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you were right in the heart of that, the heart of the before baseball changed too. Before it went, where you need your starting pitcher to only get you 4.5, 5 innings. You were right smack dab in the middle of that before it all changed to now. I mean, you ended your career in 2006, 2007, and you were there. You're number 19 on all-time saves leader, which is fucking amazing. It's no bullshit. So you've seen all those guys. You were there from 92, 91, 92 to 2007. You had an illustrious career in the big leagues. The one thing I want to ask you is this. I gotta figure out how to word it here. How hard was it?
Hang on, Mike. If you think about it, he spent 17 years in the big leagues.
Right.
He spent 6 years in the minors. Just
right.
Put that. Just
no, I get it
in the perspective.
I get it. I mean, the guys that are, there's nothing but Hall of Fame talent ahead of you. I mean, you're right there. I mean, you are right there for the Hall of Fame. And that's going to allude in this next question. Before Mariano Rivera and before you guys like K-Rod, who's eligible this upcoming year, ballot for the Hall of Fame, when you retired, you were right there. You were in the top guys for saves.
But see, I'm realistic. I was blessed to pitch for 23 years. I never won the Roll Age awards for relievers. Came close.
But Roberto, you have 8 seasons. I
know.
8 seasons of 25 or more saves, which is fucking mind blowing.
You look at when I retired, there were guys like Big Brother Lee Smith.
Yeah.
478 saves.
Chicago Cub, baby. Woo!
But not in the Hall of Fame during that time.
Yeah, which is a goddamn shame.
Yeah, exactly. Then you got John Franco, who's got over 400 some saves.
Right.
Not in the Hall of Fame. I'm at 326. I'm like, those guys can't get in. I can't get in.
Right.
But I was being real, and for me,
you're being real about it. I get it 100%.
Yeah. And for me, Lee Smith should have been a slam dunk a long time ago.
Then why not you?
His numbers are way better than what I the numbers right there. If I had his number, slam dunk, but I didn't, and I don't.
Mhm.
I'm at peace with that. You know?
I got one other guest I want to go ahead and bring into the show. Roberto, you never met him. He's a very good friend of mine. He hails from the Dallas region. Listen to this, okay? He's Dallas. He lives in Dallas.
Steven Glasgow, baby.
Hold on. He lives in Dallas.
Cue the porno.
He likes the funk.
It's not.
He's a
Steven
Tampa Bay
Glasgow.
Buccaneer fan from Dallas.
I feel like you're doing a dating show at this point, and Mike is in the background.
And you know what he does also?
He likes long walks on the beach.
He likes long walks on the beach.
He loves Netflix and chill.
He blows Glasgow. Steven Glasgow.
What's up, Steven?
What's going on?
Say hello to Roberto Hernandez. How you doing today, buddy?
He's got a Grogu. He's got a Grogu in his background in a Tampa Bay
Stop,
Dodgers
Mike.
jersey.
The music's
Because
off,
he's
Mike.
Steven Glasgow. Oh yeah. He's
Somebody needs to take Mike away.
on his wall.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Hey, Mike,
Steven, how are you,
Mike,
buddy? Thanks for coming on.
I'm great. I'm just wondering, Mike, how much per minute will that cost me over the phone?
Seriously, you call me right now, you're gonna get a picture of me with one sock on it. It's not gonna be on my foot, and I'm gonna be thinking about you, big boy.
See, I told you about this. You played this music, and this is what you opened up. You opened up Pandora's box.
Oh yeah. Hey, Steven Glasgow.
Yeah.
I'm Fat Mike. I got beat ups, baby. I'm wearing one sock and one sock only, and it's not my foot. Oh yeah.
He's talking.
Roberto,
Oh, yeah.
did you ever think it would turn into this?
I'm surprised he stayed on this long with me being on the show, to be honest with you. I'm surprised he's like, this guy's a fucking idiot. I gotta go.
I'm having a good time though.
This guy's an idiot.
This is exactly what it's about. It's a good time. Steven, what's going on,
Yes.
buddy? I'm sorry to tell you, but that thing sitting behind you where it says TB12
Yeah.
in about 24 hours.
Yeah.
I gotta read the rest of this report. And of course, if you guys are just tuning in here to the over under and 1252 Chicago Sports, Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports Tonight had this to say. Several sources who are within Brady's inner circle anticipate that he will most likely reveal his future plans in the coming days. Brady is a historian of the game. He understands what it takes for players and teams to reach this point in the season and would not want to upstage the game itself in any way. Making an announcement the week leading up to the Super Bowl would not be his style, and waiting until after the Super Bowl with the scouting combine just weeks away might begin to cut into the Buccaneers' ability to pivot as an organization and readjust their plans for 2022. If it was now to not include arguably the greatest football player who ever lived. Right there, the report is that Tom Brady here in the next couple of days, I'm thinking maybe tomorrow, could announce his retirement, and that would send not only shockwaves in the Tampa Bay area, but around
the
NFL.
entire National Football League. It has
Yeah.
sent shockwaves across every sport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's I was hopeful.
Do you notice Roberto's dancing for us? Let's get the
Yeah.
fun going.
Get the one going. There you go.
Roberto did
There
it.
you go, Roberto. Come on.
Roberto's making out with the camera.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Baby making music on 1252 Chicago.
From that show we got, Roberto. Show him. They
Show
just
him,
jealous,
Roberto.
man. They just jealous.
Yeah.
See what happens when white people try to dance? You see what happens when
When white people start to dance?
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah, what's that
Why'd you
supposed to
gotta
mean?
go there like that, huh? Why'd you gotta do that? Huh? You had to take it there, didn't you?
It's not my fault. You weren't
It's not
born
my
with
fault.
rhythm.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
He don't know nothing about that.
Oh yeah, you should. Mystical. How could you not?
Listen, Steven Glasgow is the straightest black man I ever met in my life. Just
How do
ask
I
him.
know Mystical and he doesn't? He knows Mystical.
The only thing he knows mystical is mystic.
You're Mystic.
Hey, Roberto, just real quick, just to let you know, and he's right, I am the straightest black man he's ever met. But just to let you know, you look amazing, bro. You look fantastic. As I've told Harry before, black don't crack.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, Roberto, I took Steven when he was down here for the playoff game against the Rams. Was it the Rams? No, it was the Eagles. It was the Eagles
The
game.
Eagles game. Yeah, that's when they won.
Oh, he just got his device just disconnected. Yeah,
Well,
I took him down to the Deck Bar and Grill over there in Isla.
Okay.
And when he flew in, he came in with his lovely girlfriend, and we had a really, really good time. Food was awesome. Absolutely awesome. You've been there before.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Sorry about
Roberto,
that,
I got to ask you, there's controversy this week with the Hall of Fame. David
God
Ortiz
damn it,
gets
Peter!
in.
You stole my fucking question.
Hey, you know I was going to do it. Barry Bonds and Roger
Hold
Clemens.
on. Before you ask him that question,
Yes.
does Mike talk like a typical reporter from Chicago, Roberto? Honestly.
What does that even mean? What? Because I swear or what?
God damn it, Peter.
Right. You stole my thunder. So, Roberto, what did you think about that? David Ortiz and the Hall of Fame, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens not in. And what do you think about the whole steroid era with the players being included or not included in the Hall of Fame?
Number one, I was happy to see Poppy get in there. You know,
I love
the biggest difference between Poppy and Roger and Barry. Poppy would talk to the media, more personable. And this is where something's going to have to change with the voters.
Okay.
Or people that vote.
Expound. I want people to know what you mean by that.
You got writers that hold grudges or that they think that their vote is they hold those guys' lives in their own hand. And some of these guys that are voting now didn't see Clemens or didn't see Barry. I played with Barry in '97 before the allegations, before he got big. He was in three or four-time MVP. Clemens was four-time Cy Young winner. These guys were Hall of Famers prior than those days.
Well, Roberto, the thing I want to expand on this. Okay, Roger Clemens won a Cy Young with every single team that he was with: the Yankees, the Astros, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox.
I think he won back-to-back in Toronto.
He did. He was unbelievable in Toronto.
Yeah.
All right. The thing that blows my mind though is this. Okay, like you just said, you expanded on the voters who on the BBWAA, Baseball Writers Association of America. There are young guys, but most of them are fucking ancient.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ancient. All right, and they hold these grudges against these guys, against like somebody like Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, guy. But the question I want to ask: how big is David Ortiz getting inducted into the Hall of Fame? How much of a step is this since he came out and said, "Yes, I took steroids"? How big of a step forward is that for guys that are underneath the scrutiny of being steroid users to get into the Hall of Fame? How big is that for those players like Bonds, McGuire, even though I think McGuire is a fucking turd sandwich, but Sosa, guys along that line? How big is that for Poppy to get in as a known and admitted steroid user for those guys to get into the Hall of Fame?
It's a big step. With Barry and Roger, they're going to have to deal now with the Veterans Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to get any easier to get in, because that's a very, very private club there for them to where, they hold, they've held out Pete Rose, number one.
Betting on baseball is a little bit different.
But what Pete Rose did,
yes,
on the field,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
regardless if he bet as a manager That son bitch belongs in that Hall of Fame.
Agree.
Listen,
I think, and I'll tell you another thing,
100%.
guys. It's
Can I interject here real quick?
yes.
Okay.
Now I'm getting giddy like
Everybody
a
in this
schoolgirl because I
panel
love baseball.
knows that I've known Pete probably for, I don't know, a little over 30 years. I think I've talked to you about this a little bit, Roberto. I've been to Atlantic City, Vegas, Foxwoods, Mississippi, been all over the place. He used to sit at my table at the track all the time. We had a VIP room in there. And I'm not going to get into the logistics of him not being in baseball. I have his transcripts that were given to me years ago, and then I'll never get rid of them. It's a memento, Roberto, almost like the baseball that you gave me. You know, I mean, there's certain things that I will always cherish. But I have his transcripts from his court proceedings. He was one of the best players ever to suit up in this game. And
Definitely.
I can honestly tell you this, and I've told him, I'm on the fence when it comes to saying whether he should be in or not, because there is a big, big sign in the dugout, and it says it when you're coming up into that dugout. What rule number is it, Roberto?
21.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. I think what the players did with steroids is actually worse than what Pete Rose did, because the lifeblood of the game,
I don't know
Roberto,
about that.
you can speak to this, is the numbers. And when you're corrupting the numbers and you're taking PEDs.
Let me, he's correct in the sense, say you're a pitcher and you are facing a lineup that has a couple of guys that are using, and you're natural, and they're banging your brains in, and all of a sudden, a couple of days later, you get a pink slip and you get released because you couldn't get those cheaters out. They have an unfair advantage on your ass. And we knew, we had suspicion of guys that were doing it. You know,
hold on. Did you go after him though, Roberto? Seriously, if it was a ninth, if they called you in, did you go after and hit them, knowing that they were cheating? Honestly,
if during that time we didn't know for sure, but we had ideas or guess. All this started was a while back ago when they wanted to do the testing, and it was supposed to be anonymous. And a lot of us were hoping that we passed whatever threshold was. You know, I don't know if it was 6% or 8%. If 8% of the players showed some sign of, of steroid, it'll be across the board steroid. The guys that were not using were all happy because, we'll try to, end this stuff, but it was covered up. All this stuff was covered up after the baseball strike. Remember, we in '94 we missed there was no World Series in '94, and in '95 we started late. But what happened after that? Can anybody answer me? What happened after that?
Players got bigger.
Players got fucking huge,
and they started playing, and they started hitting the long ball. I mean, but Roberto, it wasn't fair to pitchers.
Ratings went down.
It saved baseball. It really
did.
It saved baseball.
What happened was the McGuire and Sosa show that revitalized baseball. So everybody put a blind eye to it, and all of a sudden, up until somebody got busted,
So then who's to blame here, Roberto? This is the hardest question I'm your friend's going to ask you. So who's to blame here? The player? Or is it Major League Baseball for turning the blind eye?
Commissioner.
Major League Baseball knew everything what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now while I got you on the roll, I want to switch things back into Tampa real quick. What's going on with Stu Sternberg?
Goddamn Tampa.
I have no clue, man. He's either smoking crack, because there's no way that players, his players want to live in two separate cities
No.
and then pay two separate taxes and also
Right.
learn another language. There's no way that's happening. You either all in or all out.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. And you look at the history of Major League Baseball, they have used the Tampa St. Pete area as their bargaining tool, if you will. They did it with the White Sox in order to get them a new stadium in
San
'87.
Francisco did it also.
Right. San Francisco, the Mariners were talking about it. They passed up on the Tampa Bay area for the Florida Marlins and the Colorado Rockies. And of course, baseball didn't come here until '98. And the reason why is because George Steinbrenner in the early '80s said, look, do not build this stadium in St. Pete. It will not work. And consequently, it's not working. But the perfect
It wouldn't
storm.
work if it was in Tampa, Ybor City, at
And you
Derby
know
Lane,
why?
Because
You know
there's
why?
too
Well,
many
let's get real
transients.
here.
But you
the
have-
reason why Tampa Bay Stadium was built, because at the time Reinsdorf was thinking about relocating the White Sox
That's
to a
not
different
true.
city.
That's not
It is
true. That
true.
wasn't. That
That's
stadium was
That's
already
true.
built.
Yes.
That stadium was already built.
It was already built.
It was a ploy for Reinsdorf to get the city of Chicago to dupe him into going ahead and building another stadium. That's why it happened, Mike, and that's what a lot of people don't remember because I was back and forth till then.
Correct.
Look, the people at Derby Lane, which is a huge facility here in St. Pete, for the people up in Chicago, Derby Lane is a dog track.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with a horse track. It's a parimutuel facility for greyhounds, and it sits on hundreds of acres of land, and it's in prime location. It's dead in between St. Pete and Tampa Bay. It sits right on one of the bridges called the Gandy Bridge. It is so big, they could have built a stadium there. Roberto, yes or no?
Yes.
They could have not only built a stadium, they could have built a hotel. They could have built a casino. They have a parking lot for 500,000 people if they wanted to. And I'm exaggerating a little bit. But they never wanted to sell it back then. But when they did, and I know for a fact, because I know the owners from Derby Lane, there was a negotiation. And they were willing to let it go for lesser money.
Mm-hmm.
And the organization said,
Well, that's it. But that's what it's all about. And people see through that. It's like Groundhog Day in the Tampa Bay area. Roberto, you can even talk about this. Remember, the Bucks had Hugh Culverhouse. He was a cheap guy, right? You get Stu Sternberg. I'm not saying he was that cheap, but when you tell a fan base every year, look, if you don't win, if you don't come out and support my product, we're not going to sign fan favorites. And you continue year after year to get rid of fan favorites. Even if you're competitive, at the end of the day, that is going to draw fans away. And you're telling...
Roberto has something.
Roberto, go for
it. In my contract, I signed a 4-year deal here with the Rays with an option.
Can you disclose it?
Yeah, it was $28 million.
Right.
The deal was
Roberto,
they came up to me. They came up to me and asked me to defer some money. And I said, fine, I can defer money, but let me think about it. And then, this was after year 3, this is during year 3.
Wow.
It said, if you defer some money, it'd be easier for us to keep you here. As soon as I said yes, they traded my fucking ass as fucking Kansas City.
Wow.
They did.
Unreal.
Not only they did that to me, they did that shit to Davey Martinez too.
Yep.
They did not.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how they work. That's how that organization
So
works. He knows it.
I would not trust this organization with, they're doing the same thing for what the White Sox and the Giants did, but now, who in their right mind is going to put a freaking sign in front of the Trop
during the playoffs
that they're going to be splitting their season in Montreal and here?
Right. You're basically
trying
to.
I drive. Like it.
You believe this, Mike?
I'm driving on the 275. Going up north, and I'm seeing that sign. I'm like, are they thinking about doing it? I am sorry for Montreal. Montreal deserves a major league team. Mm-hmm. That is one fun city, and they support. They supported baseball. Unfortunately for Montreal and Toronto, what freaking screwed them big time was the '94 strike.
Correct.
Right.
You're exactly
Big
right, because you had
time.
Larry.
Well,
you had
especially
Larry-
another reason too, not to get off topic, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Peter, but at that specific moment in 94, 95, when the strike happened to baseball, unfortunately, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens were actually pretty damn good hockey teams. So any aspect that you had in that realm of trying to commit fans towards a different sport where
Yeah.
hockey is
Good point.
predominant. Let's
Yeah.
get real here.
But still,
right,
baseball
hockey is
was a
definitely
bigger
predominant.
sport in there than hockey was. I mean,
It's not.
just-
No, Harry, it's not. It's
No.
not.
During
Well,
that time with the Toronto Blue Jays? Are you kidding
No.
me?
Well,
They're
It's
Toronto,
fresh
you had Joe
It's
Carter,
not.
you had
It's
Paul
not, Harry. It's
Molitor
not.
at that
Hey,
time.
in Toronto,
It's
when-
Maple Leafs or die.
in Toronto, when in 91, 92, 93, you couldn't get a fucking ticket to get into the Sky Dome.
Nope.
You're damn right. Yep.
Hmm.
I'm letting
That's
you
how
know-
popular it was,
Hey.
Mike.
I when in '93 when the White Sox played Toronto, there were 55 to almost 56,000 people screaming freaking Canadians in the Sky Dome, and I was not scared one bit. Because you know why? The week before we played in Cleveland, which was the last 3 games or 4 games that they had in Cleveland in that old stadium, which was Cleveland Municipal Stadium, we were pitching in front of 77 to 78,000 people, and that's like the biggest crowd I ever been a part of. I'm like, holy shit! They were talking about roping off people in the outfield.
Yeah. Are you
Doing those
serious?
games.
Yes, Cleveland at that point. Cleveland and Chicago were in a tight race. I mean, one of the tightest
Yeah, that's
races in baseball. And you're talking about Montreal, the greatness of Larry Walker at that point. I believe Pedro Martinez was coming up.
They had the best team in baseball.
So you got the screws put to you a couple of different times, because I like to tell the story as well. And again, I'm not trying to diss on my White Sox because it's my favorite baseball team and everybody knows that. But there was something called the white flag trade.
Yeah.
And I'd like for the people that are out there that don't know anything about it, tell them how that went down.
We're playing, I think it's Detroit at home. We playing it's a day game. It's a getaway game. And I come in, as a save. So I'm like running in, and all of a sudden, I stop and just started walking in a little bit just to look around. And I'm, I had a funny feeling this is going to be my last game in this uniform. Because, we were talking about an extension, or, we're talking about, my agent, we're talking about maybe, they want to sign you for 3 years for like $10 million. I said, if you don't sign it, I'll kill you. You forge my signature. Game's over. We'll get the save. We get on a plane to go to Anaheim. We fly in. It's a get in way early, and I wake up. We go to bed and then wake up. I'm like, I should be still in bed, but I'm walking around the lobby around 7:00. I said, it's something doesn't feel good. I'm walking around, grab some breakfast, go back upstairs, try to get some sleep, can't sleep, go back downstairs, and all of a sudden I see Terry Bedington, walk up to me and say, and he's laughing. I say, you need to come upstairs because you just been traded. He's laughing when telling me I just been traded. So they made Wilson Alvarez, myself, and Danny Darwin get on a plane to go to Anaheim. To turn around, they'd had to limo us to San Diego to catch a red eye in San Diego to Cincinnati. We're going to meet the team in Cincinnati. And that's how I got traded in Chicago.
So you've been around a lot of different teams, yeah. Obviously, with your career and stuff like that, going across a shit ton of different teams. What is that feeling like? You were
It's
like,
an empty feeling. It's an empty feeling.
what is that feeling like when you get traded? It's like it has to be like, what the fuck? Now I got to uproot my entire life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, especially, and I'd like to answer that a little bit
You know,
for him. I mean,
you
how
know,
would it
the-
feel if you had to uproot your family or you're leaving your family behind? He's got a
I don't
beautiful
know. I
wife.
trade
He
my
has
wife in
his
for two
children.
18-year-olds right now.
I mean,
You know, the thing was that the rumors that were going around during that time is I was going to be traded to Seattle.
Which would have been fucking awesome.
The thing was that they didn't trade me to Seattle because the White Sox still had to play 2 series against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't
Makes
want my
sense.
ass to be coming back to Chicago in Comiskey, you know.
Just shut some
and
doors down, baby. That's what you were
not
good at.
only that, they didn't want
326 doors closed.
they didn't want the media to have access to us. You know, you think that was bad? Let me tell you a worse story.
love it.
We're playing Chicago. And, you know,
What team are you on? What team are you on at this point?
I'm with Chicago with the White Sox.
Okay.
I think this is 93. It is 93. Carlton Fisk is about ready to break the record for most games caught. And he breaks the game on a Saturday. So, he catches Saturday game. And everybody's in the clubhouse trashed. I mean, we're celebrating, drinking, and we tell the wives to go home. We're going to be hanging out here for an hour and a half or a couple
Got
hours.
some strippers in, some titties, some blows, some
No.
booze. You do your thing.
No, it wasn't like that. You know, we'll get to that other story in a minute. Well, we got a Sunday day game. It's a Sunday getaway day game. We head into Cleveland.
Worst place ever.
At that time, yes. We get to Cleveland. We come in Monday. We got a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. So I go to the ballpark early. I was young, wanted to make sure that I get there early, get my work done. And I walk in there, the visiting clubhouse guy is crying like a little girl in the corner. And I see some of the coaches in the corners, with their head down, and everybody's like somber, like somebody like the president got shot. And I asked, I said, what the hell's going on here? And then they started pointing at a corner, of the locker room. Each player, veteran player has his own locker, no matter where they go. They pick out a locker. So I turn around and I see 2 empty lockers. I said, what the hell's going on here?
Who was it?
It was Carlton Fisk's locker. They made Carlton Fisk fly to Cleveland after he caught the record-breaking set of catches in games caught, fly to Cleveland to release him. They released him in Cleveland.
Unreal. I got a story about Carlton Fisk. There's a thing in Lockport here where I grew up in Lockport, Illinois, just south of Chicago here. Carlton Fisk is a resident of Lockport, and he was a big commodity through Lockport baseball and Homer baseball and stuff like that. When I was a kid, there's a thing called Canal Days. All right, it's like the town fucking parade. They throw candy and shit like that, yada yada yada. Well, Carlton Fisk pulled up, and I didn't know. Unbeknownst to me, I was a kid. I was 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever I was. We were sitting right next to the mayor of Lockport at the time, and he pulled up on a Harley.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and says hello to the mayor, and I knew who it was. And at the time, I've always been a big Boston Red Sox fan. Outside of the Cubs, the Red Sox are my second favorite team. I love the Red Sox. And I was wearing the Red Sox cap where it's red on the top, blue bill, blue and white B on the front. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, holy shit, that's Carlton Fisk. I was like, can you sign my hat? Can you sign my hat? He looked at me. He's like, I don't think so, kid. I'm better than that.
Oh,
Wow.
Word for word, verbatim. I was like, Carlton Fisk is now my least favorite player ever. And from that moment, I was hoping that he would have hit a banana peel on his motorcycle and did like a fucking Mr. Magoo out into the canal.
I'll tell you another one that had a propensity for not liking the signed autographs, believe it or not, was Pete Rose, unless he was getting paid for them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make him a bad guy.
Of course,
You know?
Pete wanted to get paid.
You know,
Hey,
I'm going
Harry,
to, yes, sir.
I'm glad you brought it back to that because I want to come kind of full circle. And I want to apologize. I don't know what happened to my internet earlier. I was trying to answer a question you asked.
It's happening again, but go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're
NFL and it's NFL and NBA, but I'm sorry, not MLB. Sorry, it's MLB, but I want to tie them together. You asked me about Brady. I know when we talked before, I had mentioned that I think he's going to come back for one more year. Part of me still.
And he's
He's
gone.
gone.
He's
He's
gone.
gone.
He's
What is this,
gone.
amateur hour here?
gone.
All right.
gone.
Speaking of one of your teammates, Fred McGriff. To me, he should absolutely be in at this point.
No doubt.
493 home runs, and this is why I've always kind of talked against the steroid users in the steroid era, because to me the biggest cop out is
Look who just got in.
right.
Look who just got in.
Right.
You think Tony Oliva should have gotten it? He should have been in a long time ago. Tony Oliva.
Well, in your opinion, why hasn't Fred McGriff gotten the love from the Hall of Fame voters? And
I have no clue.
okay,
I have no clue. There's another guy on that list also. The second baseman.
I got two reasons.
There's a second baseman that has the most home runs and most RBIs, and he's not liked. He's not liked by the reporters.
mm-hmm.
Who is he?
I have
Roberto
two
Hernandez?
questions for you.
Jeff Kent.
Jeff
Fucking
Kent.
A, baby. I've been preaching for Jeff Kent for a
Jeff
decade.
Kent
That fucking guy should be in the Hall of
belongs
Fame.
in that Hall of Fame.
And Roberto, I have a question for you.
Yes,
And
shoot.
you don't have to answer it. Has your name ever come up for a possibility to even think about getting into the Hall of Fame?
No.
Have you ever been nominated? Nothing.
No.
And that's bullshit. That's
No.
bullshit.
You're
That's
top
bullshit.
20. It's top 20.
I know.
That's
I
bullshit.
don't
And that's the
326
amazing thing, because your position as being a closer is so specialized these days and so specialized back then. It's such an important facet of a baseball team. That's why they paid the big time money.
Could you imagine?
Well, nowadays,
And I'm not trying to sound like a homer because he's on the show, but could you
Yeah, you
imagine his skill set
Mm-hmm.
in today's game?
He would have lasted longer and would have been that much better with those high leverage situations, right, Roberto?
Yes, so. I mean, in the days off that they're giving guys, if they throw them 2 days in a row, they get automatic 2 days off. We didn't ask for days off. We wanted the ball every chance we got. If I had a chance to pitch in 7 games in a row, I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, you
I
weren't no
think
bitch.
you
You
do.
weren't no bitch back in the day.
Nope.
In the early 90s and shit like that. You can't be like that, or your ass
Nope.
is off the fucking squad
Or
real quick.
You get replaced.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say. In the 90s and in that steroid era, guys, there were guys that were getting fucking bumped immediately. If they sucked balls against steroid hitters, they were gone the next day, plain and simple. Which is sad to say. Which is really sad to say. Now, Roberto, I do have a question for you. Everybody talks about the tenacity and about the mindset that you have to have as a closer. You did this for fucking years, man. I mean, you were a closer for years. Again, 326 saves, 19 all time. Guys, again, we're here at 1252. Harry the Greek, Peter. You guys are fucking awesome. I love you guys. But Roberto, to have that mindset, that I mean, it has to be a killer mindset to go in there, bases juiced, a dirty inning, going in there with 2 outs or 1 out. What did you have to do to fucking to amp yourself up to be like, boy, I got to get into this game. I got to get these 2 outs. What is that mindset like? What is that killer mentality like?
You have to have what you just said, killer mentality. And for me was, I didn't fear it. I just knew for me that my worst feeling It was if I don't do my job, I'm letting those other 8 guys or 9 guys down that are playing in the field and got the lead. So I feared more of letting them down, and that drove me to success. I didn't want to let my teammates down. They all believed in me. The coaching staff believed in me, and they wanted me to be the guy at the end of the game. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I can't let these guys down. So that's what drove me.
So were you a guy that trusted? Okay, so now you say hypothetically, I'm just going to put a scenario out there as it is right now. It's you and the catcher, right? Those are the 2 of the 9 that are on the field. Boom, set in stone. Were you the guy that was like, I got to strike, I got to punch out every single one of these guys?
No.
I got to match a 0.
No.
Boom.
No.
Or did you have the ultimate faith in the 7 behind you?
Yes. Because if you look up my numbers, I struck out a lot of guys, but I had to pitch in 1,000 games. But I had one weapon, one very good weapon, that I threw a 98-mile-an-hour sinker that if you hit it, it's either a broken bat right to me or a ground ball to Robin Ventura for a double play.
Because they always pulled it, didn't they?
And then I hardly ever, Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk was catching me in spring training, and I'm throwing in Dunedin, and I'm throwing off that freaking mountain that they have for a pitching mound, and I'm throwing 2-seamers, and I'm throwing them, and they're moving. I mean, I'm just juiced. The ball's moving that much.
Can't say juiced.
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
So Carlton Fisk whiffs on 3 of them. He calls timeout, and he goes.
Since he called timeout, he plugged him in the head. End of the story. That's what I would have done. Fuck Carlton Fisk.
He comes out to the mound. He says, "Son, we're not going to throw that pitch anymore because I can't fucking catch it." So,
What a great story.
Yes.
That is fucking gold.
Going in the dugout, he said, "Dude, I'm old, man, but shit, your ball runs so damn much, it's hard to catch. I need 2 weeks just to train to catch you, but I'll be ready for you for that in the season." So that was my bread and butter.
Nice.
It didn't matter, righty or lefty.
Who caught better for you? Was it Fisk or Carco?
Huh?
Who caught better for you? But I'll give you my opinion.
Well,
Fisk or
Carco.
Yep.
I mean, that's a given. Then we had Spanky.
What a defensive catcher he was. You know,
we had Spanky Lavalier also. We had some good catchers.
I got so many more questions.
But it was, I trusted the guys behind me because they trusted me.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Right.
Hey, I want to give you some props real quick, Roberto. First of all, a couple of things I agree with you on. Montreal does deserve. You don't have to big scream me, Harry. I'd love to see all the guys.
Oh, look how cute Steven Glasscock looks, or Glasker looks.
You want to know why I'm using these glasses? Because I'm pissed at my computer because I'm using
I want to know,
Chrome,
baby.
and Chrome sucks. So I have to
You
use
let
my
me know,
phone.
Steven Glasker. You let me know the dirty
I had to use my
down there in
phone in
Texas.
order to be able to see you all. I need my glasses because I'm using my phone now. But anyway,
He's
I
using
want to
his
tell
phone.
White people, stop dancing. Just stop dancing. You want to know what? You want to know when you see brothers in clubs full of white folks dancing? We're there laughing at y'all. Just let you know.
Please tell me, Steven Glasker. Let me know
Roberto
all
knows what I'm
about it.
talking about.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I want to say you're right. Montreal does deserve a team. Great place.
Walk like an Egyptian.
A football tie-in. Montreal was the
5'6"
team
with
that
2
Brady
foot
got drafted by before he decided to go to NFL. For those of you who didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, I'm completely with you on Pete Rose. I am so sick of these betas who are always, oh, he did this. Bruh, what did he do on the field? That's all I care about.
See, this is where I differ, man. This is where I differ.
No, because here's the deal. Harry, you know this. We have guys who are doing blow in the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
What do you think I did before this show?
That's a performance enhancing
Obviously.
drug. And they're in the hall. So I don't want to hear anything about Oh, well, he bet on baseball. Well, according to Pete, he never
Ty
bet on his
Cobb
own team.
killed a guy.
He never bet on his own team, according to him. So
I
Ty
can't
Cobb
confirm
killed
nor
the
he
guy.
deny
deserves to be in
that.
the Hall.
Well,
Ty
look,
Cobb
I mean,
literally killed a guy.
look, you have racists, you have guys killing people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, the whole character clause. I agree with it to a certain point, but then again, if you're going to put in Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, which I think eventually they're going to get in, you have to definitely consider Pete Rose and what he did on the field, not off of it. And then
Right.
on top of it,
Can
a
I-
shoeless Joe Jackson.
Can I tell you something?
Wait.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can I
Let
tell
the
you-
pro talk. Let the pro talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pete's going to wind up getting in.
When he's dead.
When
Yes.
he's dead. Ron
Yeah,
Santo
But
was
see,
in.
that's not right.
No,
That's
I
not
know
right.
that. I know that. Who Manny Minoso.
Ron
Manny
Santo.
Minoso, one
Ron
of the greatest.
Santos.
Yeah.
All right. No, I go back and forth.
Years. Those guys, there are guys that deserve to be,
Fucking
not
A.
all of a sudden,
Fucking
they're
A.
in.
Jim Rice. What about Dick Allen? Dick Allen needs to be in the Hall of Fame. That dude fucking
God,
mashed
Dick
the baseball.
Allen.
But see,
Yep.
you,
All right.
you guys are making my
there
point
are-
for me. You're making my point.
Yeah,
Roberto.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is this. The thing is this, Steven. As a player, 100% Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame. 100%.
Yeah.
How about
absolutely.
Shoeless Joe Jackson?
Absolutely.
Steven,
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
what
you
they
got
did
fucking,
on the field
Eddie
that
Seacott,
matters.
all those guys. They need to be in the Hall of Fame.
Here's the criteria. Here's what should be the criteria for the Hall of Fame. Because it's it used to be anyway, the criteria for the NFL Hall of Fame. Can you tell the story of baseball without mentioning these people? If you cannot, they need to be in the Hall. It's
can't- right.
that
That's
simple.
a great
you-
point,
right.
Steve.
Yeah.
You
got-
fucking nail it right on the head. But
you
with
got
Pete
the- you
Rose,
got-
what he did to where he was able as a man, I'm sorry, Roberto, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
What he did when he was a manager to possibly, and I'm not going to say that he did or did not, but that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame as of right now. He was in a position to determine the outcome of a fucking game. And that's why he's not in there now. That's what breaks guys like me who sit there. I have the baseball package. You think I'm a fucking football fan? I'll watch any baseball game that's out on the air. I don't care if it's the Toronto Blue Jays against the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm tuned into that shit all day long. That is my life. I love baseball. Baseball will forever, always be my number 1A. And when you sit there and you tarnish that, same thing with that dick bag up in Detroit. What the fuck is that asswipe's name? The guy from Houston. What the fuck's that jerk off's name? Help me out, guys. Come on, help me out. What's his name?
Correa?
Correa.
No. The manager. Hinch. AJ Hinch. This
AJ
fucking
Hinch.
jerk off. All right. Alex Cora. This fucking dildo.
But
All
essentially,
these
here's
guys
the
need to be
thing,
out of the
Fat Mike.
fucking
Alex
game.
Cora was a
Here's the thing, Fat Mike, and here's the thing that I think baseball keeps it alive because it keeps baseball relevant. We have these conversations because honestly, if we weren't talking about steroids or Hall of Fame, baseball would be irrelevant at this point. I think that's the
Well, at this
reason why.
point, it's getting to that point, Peter. At this point, it's
But
getting to that point because nobody's fucking playing it.
Right.
Nobody's watching it because of the 5-hour fucking games. They're
Right.
trying to do this shit with robot umpires and this, that, and the other thing. And
Right.
this fucking this new extra inning rule. Good lord, put a
Right.
45 in my
I would
testicles.
never
Hold on,
buy that. Never.
Right.
Yeah, that is That is the worst fucking rule I've ever seen that has ever been established in Major League Baseball. That is fucking terrible.
Roberto.
And
You know
Jack,
what we're
this is
talking
what-
about when they
second
did.
This
Get
gets
the
back
fuck
to
outta
what
here.
Roberto was talking about, though. Peter, I don't agree. I don't like that character rule or whatever the hell bullshit that is, because it's got nothing to do with what you did on the field. What did you do on the field? That's what you should go in the hall for.
My problem has always been, guys, with all the steroids in baseball and people saying, well, it's a steroid era. Not only does it take away from players like a Fred McGriff, and basically you're guilty by association. So not only does Fred get guilty by association because of the era, but also gets overlooked because he doesn't have the inflated numbers that those players have. But on top of it, it is a smack in the face to players who did it correctly, like a Roger Maris, like a Willie Mays. those players of that era didn't need PEDs. These guys are punks, and the only reason why they did it is not for the history of baseball, which again, the numbers are the lifeblood. They did it for the paycheck. You make a selfish decision like that, you stick with it. You're not in the Hall of Fame of baseball. Sorry.
I agree. I got no problem with that because, it's like you were saying, Roberto was saying, like Roberto was saying, you're a pitcher. You're not juicing. You're going up against a guy who's juicing. That's unfair. That's an unfair bet. Those people shouldn't be. If they never go in the Hall, I don't have a problem with that. But Pete Rose and guys like him and Shoeless Joe, for what they did, I understand what he did as a manager, but that's not what he's going in the Hall for. He's going for what he did as a player.
Correct.
And that's why he deserves to be
My
in the Hall.
question
And I
is
think
this,
it's petty.
and
I think
I'm
it's
not-
petty that the voters, it's usually punk ass beta male.
I'm not saying
sports
that
writers.
he did or he didn't, but I want you to read my lips when I say this, okay? These allegations are when he was a manager. Did he bet on the game when he played? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get an answer whether he did or he didn't. But you know where my opinion lies.
Right.
And this is a man that I've known for a very long time, and I've spent hours on trips outside the state of Florida.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not saying that he did, and I'm not saying that he didn't. Look, it's a shame, and Roberto will agree with me. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, unfortunately, when he's dead.
And that's just petty.
Major League Baseball is as hypocritical
Yep.
as the National Football League.
Yep.
And it's just, these are my opinions. This does not reflect the opinions of 1252 Sports, Roberto Hernandez, or anybody else on this panel.
Right.
But it's extremely hypocritical for the way these corporations are ran.
Correct.
Yep.
And it's a shame because America's pastime is and will always be Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And what they've done to it was a disgrace back then. And what they're trying to do to the game right now, especially with some of these owners, it's not fair. And you're talking, and I'm talking in the spot of saying I'm on the side of the players.
Right.
99.9% of the times.
Right.
It's their bodies that they're putting out there. It's their injuries. It's their careers. It's my buddy who spent 17 years in the major leagues who had to leave his family every couple of years. Just think about that for a second. And it's so difficult to do. And I'm not trying to speak for you, Roberto, but that is one of the hardest things that I would have to think that someone ever had to go through. And my hats are off to you.
I want to answer the question, whose fault is it? It's Bud Selig, who's also in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
He turned a blind eye to it. He coughed. He's the one, and I think he's probably the
They
worst.
had no choice.
But he's the worst commissioner in professional sports. Roberto, my question for you is, do you feel like not only do you have animosity to those players that did PEDs because you did it naturally, but do you think your peers, the majority of your peers that didn't do it, do they have animosity towards those players?
You have some guys that have animosity. You know, I didn't. I just took it on a challenge. I took it as a challenge for myself to say, all right, I just got to outwork these fuckers. I just got to be, I remember I was a day or two away from losing my dream, where I almost got my arm cut off because I had a blood clot. So I was living my dream of being in the big league, regardless of what era. And I was not going to have those guys that were juicing or affect me. You know, I said, I just got to beat them to my spot. Remember, it doesn't matter how much juice you have in you. If you don't have hand-eye coordination, it's a bitch to hit a round ball with
Right.
back.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Hit a round ball.
You know what?
squarely
And
on the
this-
back.
there's a follow-up.
It takes some skill.
Right. Now,
Hold
Roberto,
on.
before
There's
we start
hold on,
the show-
Mike. Hold on,
okay.
because this
Good.
is a follow-up question. You're pitching. You're in the prime of your career. Every great closer has given up some saves, correct? Blown
Yes.
saves.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just assume some of those saves were because of PEDs. And think about all the save opportunities that you weren't part of because the opposing team had players that were on PEDs and the game was out of reach for you not to get in the game. Had you pitched in an era where the PEDs are not there, are we now talking about a Hall of Fame pitcher? And I want to go full screen because I want your honest opinion. I don't think anybody's ever asked you that.
Probably, I mean, you look at, my best year ever was on a team that only won 69 freaking games. Out of those 69 games, I saved 43.
Jesus Christ.
Just imagine, and Mariano beat me by 2 saves. So just imagine, and they won, I think, 106. So just imagine if the team that I played for that year.
How many blown saves that year?
3.
Are you serious?
It's amazing. That's amazing.
40 saves, 3 blown.
Yeah.
And you're not in the Hall of Fame.
43, and we only won 69 games. So
that's for the Rays, right?
Yeah. Just imagine if we would have won 90 games or 75 or 7, because I was in almost every freaking game.
So you have 65. You would have had 60 to 65 saves that year. If you really, no, not quite. No, maybe. Hang on, 43. 40.
Let's put him high 50s. High 50s for
50s.
sure.
Yeah.
That's what. That's. I didn't
real.
mean to put you on a spot like that, but I would have to say, because I thought about this, I was like, if he didn't play in this era, because of a couple of blown saves that he haven't, every closer is going to go through them, but would he have blown those particular saves? Probably not.
Roberto, do you think with the stance of Major League Baseball and how they've kind of warded off steroid users, do you think they have a responsibility now to revert some of the records back to the previous owners, such as Roger Maris instead of Barry Bonds, the real home run king, Hank Aaron, instead of Barry Bonds? Could Major League Baseball kind of look at that and try to do that? Would you be okay with that? Do you think they have a responsibility to do that?
I don't think there's nobody in Major League Baseball that has the balls enough to go do it. Point blank.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean,
for a long
Roger
time.
Maris, Roger Maris, and number one, they did it in less games.
Right.
Yeah.
Less games. A lot of these records, you're gonna have to put asterisks because when they did it, what 154 games back then, or 100? I don't know what it was.
154.
Yeah, and to post up and play 150 some games and hit 61 homers.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
He was also batting in front of or behind one of the greatest hitters of all time, Mickey Mantle. Guys, come on.
Yes.
He's going to see a lot more fucking fastballs than the average Joe is going to see.
Some of your best hitters always bet. They couldn't bat around them. I mean, just take a look what some of your great teams are doing. Hey guys, you know what we're going to do right now? We're going to get off a whole bunch of questions. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit of football. We're going to go ahead and try to get this show to cut loose a little while. I've had Roberto on here for 2 hours. I'm sure he doesn't even realize it, but you know what? I do appreciate it.
I still got more shit for Roberto. I
promise you,
I can come back any other show.
I promise you, Michael, I'll bring him back on. And what we, especially during baseball season,
especially when Fat Mike does the music.
Yeah, do the music. Play the funk. Here we go. You ready?
Here we go.
Come on, Vin Diesel.
This is Steven Glasker, a.k.a. Steven Glasscock. I got a Grogu behind me wearing a TB12 jersey, and it's TB 12 inches. 2B 12 inches. That's what that means, 2B. I got you, baby. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
5'6" with a 2-foot prick.
That's enough of that. All right. We got a couple of games coming on this weekend.
Roberto, really quick, I want to say, Roberto, thank you for joining me tonight. I know I'm an ass bag, and I thank you for joining us tonight, not me. Thank you for joining the Harry Greg Show and Peter Blake. This is fucking awesome, man. It was absolutely awesome to talk to you. And I still have
a little bit more of a Sox fan now, just a little bit.
No, still no. I hate the fucking White Sox. Every ounce of my being, every ounce of my being. But it's always good to talk to a former major leaguer and always get the insight of what it's like going in, up and down, over and out through the game of baseball, because that is ultimately my number one passion. So, Roberto, thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure.
I
guys.
So
really
now
wanna
we're going to
thank
get
you for
some
that. Thank
picks.
you.
We're going to go
Thank you,
around the
brother.
horn really quick. Roberto, we're going to start with you. The Cincinnati Bengals, I'm sure you didn't have them getting this far. They're in the AFC Championship game. If I didn't know what the line was, I would have said that the Kansas City Chiefs had to be a 2-touchdown favorite, and they're merely only a 7-point favorite in this game. Do you think Kansas City covers the 7, they win by 7 or more, or do you think Cincinnati does? Who do you like and why?
Number one, I got to go with Cincinnati. Family and my kids are old Joe Burrow fans, and I become one bigger fan after you get sacked 9 times and get up, not fumble, take care of the ball, and to still go on the road and win against that Tennessee defense.
Mm-hmm.
And they played Kansas City before, so they know, and they're not scared of them. I'll take Cincinnati if they have a little bit of defense in their side this weekend.
Very good point.
Both teams are going to score. Both teams.
And you know what? I didn't talk about that. The over and under in that game is 54.5. That's the combined score for everybody out there that doesn't realize what that means.
Wow.
So you think that game can go over for total combined points?
Yes.
Perfect. Fat Mike, who do you like and why?
I'm gonna RWR this, which means riding with Roberto. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm riding.
Very
with Roberto.
nice.
I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals and the over in this game. In Week 17, the Cincinnati Bengals won. Oh yeah, won. Oh yeah, the game on Evan McPherson's field goal, baby. Yeah, he kicked it long. He kicked it deep, right between the pipes. You better believe
And that's enough of Fat Mike. I just muted him.
Oh, you motherfucker muting me.
Steven Glasgow, who do you like and why?
Hey man, I'm doing the RWR too, man. I think Cincinnati, they just seem like the Bucks did last year. They're too young and dumb to know they're not supposed to lose. And like Roberto, they're not scared of KC. They're not scared of them. They already beat them once. They're not scared of them. And if the defense shows up like they did last week, and if they can keep Burrow from getting sacked 9 times, which they should, because KC's defense isn't nearly as good as Tennessee's was. I don't think they're scared of them. I think the main thing is Cincinnati. The Bengals believe they can beat the Chiefs, and that's going to play in their favor.
Thanks for the input. How about you, Peter Blake?
Yeah, I'll go with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I do think their defense is a lot better than Tennessee's, and they have an opportunity to get a lot of sacks in this game because the Bengals' offensive line isn't that good. Of course, the story is going to be Patrick Mahomes and versus Joe Burrow and all the weapons. But at the end of the day, for me, Kansas City's defense is the one that's made the difference throughout this run. I would bet the over, but I like the Chiefs in this game.
That's absolutely perfect. If you like the Chiefs, you better bet them now, because right now they're -7, -120. What that means is for every 100 you want to win, you got to lay 120. Because tomorrow it will be 7.5. It will grow to 8 points. But if you like Cincinnati, wait to the last minute, because that's when you're going to get your best option for your money. But the Greek's giving you -7. Take Kansas City. It's a lock. I'm on fire right now. Absolutely on fire.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And
now,
Fuego.
the next game.
And Fuego. Here
The Greeks pick for the NFC Championship is the San Francisco 49ers, who have won 5 in a row, if I'm not mistaken, against the LA Rams. The Rams are -3.5, but get this.
It's about family.
Hang on. Oh, God, you guys, stop. The Rams are -3.5, -105.
Let's get weird.
This line's going to go down to -3, and the
Let's
total's
get real weird.
5.5. Roberto, who do you like in this game and why?
I'm going to take the 49ers.
You like the 49ers covering the 3.
And I look at their defense and their front 4. You know, they can pressure the quarterback, and if they don't fumble the ball and they're going to run, Lord knows they're not going to try to put much on Jimmy. But if you can go into Green Bay and not score an offensive touchdown and win,
Yeah.
and you're gonna beat, you're gonna play somebody that you already beaten twice.
Yep.
You got their number. So I like the 49ers.
Fat Mike?
I want to ride with Roberto on this one. I want to RWR on this one, but I cannot. It is very tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. The Rams defense has really picked it up. Since San Fran offense, honestly, without that block punt last week, they would have lost that game. I am definitely taking the Rams minus the 3.5 in this game.
Okay. Stephen Glasker.
I'm an RWR. I'm riding with Roberto. I got you, Roberto. Here's why. That whole is very tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 season is a fallacy. That is not true. It's something the media came up with.
Says the Buccaneers fan.
If the team sucks, you can beat them 3 times in 1 year. Now, here's the deal. Do I think Jimmy G is a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford? No. But all he does is win, 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 no matter what. Bro, I'm riding with San Fran. I'm telling you. The fact, Harry, I didn't even know the line was 3.5, and you said it's going to go down to 3 by tomorrow. That means on the neutral field, it's even game.
Yes,
I'm picking 49ers.
Peter Blake.
I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm convinced now that they are the version of the Tampa Bay.
Who convinced you?
You did. You, my friend. You, the teacher. I am the pupil, the student, and I absolutely believe that the Rams are what the Bucs were last year. They know what's in front of them. They have the opportunity to be the second team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl. And you know what? With the way Matt Stafford is playing right now, Cooper Kupp and that defense getting after it, it kind of reminds me of New Orleans and Tampa Bay. People said, you know what? New Orleans is going to beat Tampa Bay 3 times. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen last year. It's not happening this year. The Rams take care of business. They get it done. They beat the 49ers, and they're headed to a home Super Bowl 56.
Great analogy. I'm going to have to ride with Peter on there.
Thank you.
I like
You got
that.
the Greek and a little
RWP.
RWP.
RWP. I can't
Rip.
even explain it. Listen,
If you sound it out loud, it sounds like rip.
Listen, the Rams are supposed to cover this game. They really are. They are a far better football team right now. With that being said, San Francisco, it wouldn't surprise me. I had San Francisco upsetting the Dallas Cowboys when everybody said, Harry, you're smoking crack.
Mhm.
You think I'm smoking
I was there
crack?
with you.
Hang on. You think I'm smoking crack? Not only are they not going to cover, not only were they going to cover the game and take the points, they were going to beat Dallas outright. And then my game of the week, I had 2 of them. What was it, Peter?
It's Tampa Bay versus the Rams last week.
And the Rams were not only going to cover, but beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said my top game of the week were the 49ers against the Green Bay Packers. And I had no clue that they weren't even going to score an offensive touchdown and win. Roberto, very, very great insight on that. And let me tell you something. San Francisco's got a hell of a defense. That front 4 can really get after it. But the Rams really have too many weapons.
Harry, the one thing that you and I were talking about off air, the one thing that you and I really liked, you and I are sitting here bullshitting, combating back and forth. The one thing about the San Francisco 49ers is that they control the line on both sides of the ball, defense
Without
and
question.
offense.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's one thing. And we both said going into the playoffs, do not let this team squeak in. Because if they squeak in, they're going to cause fucking havoc. And that's exactly what they've done since they've entered the playoffs. Unbelievable run by the San Francisco 49ers.
Here's a caveat I want to add to what you guys are saying. If the refs stay out of it, San Fran wins that game. Because you already know I have a problem with the officials. And you know why I have that problem with the officials, Harry?
Yes.
Do you mean to tell me it's never happened before in football, but you're going to have 2 years in a row where 2 home teams just happen to make it to 2 separate Super Bowls back to back?
Well, look, they followed the blueprint that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers put out there. Hold on. They got a veteran quarterback in a Matt Stafford, much like what the Bucs did with Brady. They got players in free agency that would help them out from other teams, namely a Von Miller. They already had a defensive line. The Bucs had a defensive line built. And then on top of it, they got a little bit lucky because they're going to have the Super Bowl in their home stadium. But they took the Bucs blueprint and they kind of did the same thing this year with Von Miller and picking up guys eventually and investing picks and getting a Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has been the difference.
I gave everybody my picks. We're going to go ahead and read these comments. Some of these are directed to Roberto. I already would have let them off. We're going to blow through these. Get it?
Oh, jeez.
Pig Dog video 2001. Roberto, where did the 98 through 2000 Rays uniform rank among your favorite all time? Those were amazing uniforms.
Yeah, those were great unis. He hates
I don't
them.
think he's a
Look at
big
his
fan
face.
of them.
Look at Roberto's face. He fucking hates him. He can't stand him.
There were some
Easy,
psychedelic colors, man.
Yeah, I mean they were purple and
Before he
and
even answered,
green
he's like,
and
"This
rainbow.
motherfucker
Roberto,
asked
any
me a
good
question.
Larry
You gotta be
Rothschild
kidding me."
stories that you can share?
Good.
Oh,
There was nothing good.
There
There
you
was
go.
nothing good. It was just a puppet.
Troy Polamalu says Brady was signed with the Cowboys. Kyle Nichols says the Bucks have Gabbert, Ryan Griffin, and Trash. Roger Shue says, "Hey, Fat Mike, Vin Diesel, 4 foot tall with a 2 foot."
yeah, baby. 4'6" with a 2 foot prick. Vin Diesel, baby.
Roger Shue, painting driveways is a total
Love
thing,
it.
bro. We already know that.
We know you do it yourself. Thanks, Raj.
Roger says, "Hey, Mike, I'll take pics of the painted driveway so you can see it." Tony Williams, Fat Mike, you're killing me. Ben Cornett, thanks for tuning us in on the YouTube channel. We got a new name for Mafia, name for Peter, okay? Peter Tickles. Okay, Ben Cornett, speaking of creamsicles, Peter wants to. Oh, God.
Oh my God! Why, Ben? Why?
Christian says, no, South Side, baby. All the way. Much love.
Hey, Pig Dog video.
Pig Dog Video says, Roberto, what's your opinion of the 97 white flag trade? Were you happy to go to the Giants? He already answered that question.
No.
Roger Shue says, Mr. Hernandez, what's your thoughts on the lockout this year?
Too many rich people arguing over pennies, man. You know,
Okay.
just play ball. Just
Yeah.
play ball.
That's it. You've got somewhat of a pandemic going on, and you've got multi-millionaires or billionaires fighting with millionaires. I mean, it's not a good look. It's not a good
No.
optic.
No.
Go back to the
Facebook
sister
user
comment.
says,
That's
good old number
Go back to the sister
39.
comment.
Sorry?
Go back to the sister comment.
Yes.
That's the Vin Diesel fan page. It's all
Yeah.
about fame.
It's all about fame.
Can't do it.
Love it. Von Red.
Troy Polamalu says, Big Mike wants to talk Rays baseball.
Yeah.
Facebook user, who's
I
the
love
best
to
hitter
hate
you've
Troy
ever
Polamalu.
seen or faced? I think one was Edgar Martinez, and who was the other one, Roberto?
Toughest matchup, Roberto.
Tony Gwynn.
Okay. Tony
Okay.
Gwynn.
Son of a bitch, Tony Gwynn, one of my favorites.
Roger Shue says, how many pitchers doctored the balls in your era?
Oh,
That's a great question.
You remember the fight with the Texas Rangers?
With Robin Ventura when he got his ass beat by the old man?
Nolan Ryan. Yeah.
Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura.
Yeah, Nolan used to stuff that shit better than anyone.
Did he really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And is that why he got into it with Robin?
No.
That's the
I
reason why
mean,
he
we
threw
all,
100 miles an hour at 43 years old.
Nolan's attitude most of the time he would pick a batter and just send a message, and Robin Ventura knew it was his turn, so he just went up there. He said, if he hits me, I'm going. So once you say that, you better go.
You have
Gotta
to.
go.
You kind of have to.
You have to.
Were you out there
With
with
the
him?
headlock and the
I was trying to protect my
5 to
players,
15
so I was around. You can see my 39 running around chasing people.
Oh no, I do remember that. But you know what? The best one I've ever seen was Pedro Martinez with the great
throwing Don Zimmer's old ass to the ground. That's not fair.
Don Zimmer
was like 105.
My brain's not working. Don Zimmer passed away sometime back
75 years ago. Yeah, I know.
He lived, as a matter of fact.
118 when he died.
Don actually lived relatively close to you and I, Roberto.
Yeah.
And he frequented Derby Lane all the time. There's a lot of great stories, but still, when Don Zimmer used to say something stupid to me to dog track, and I was like, Don, please, don't make me Pedro your ass today.
Used to grab him by his
And
head
he
and throw
used
him
to
to
get
the turf.
so upset, you have no idea.
Poor Don.
Christopher Cole says, hey guys, hey Chris, thanks for... And Facebook user says, love the cat, Harry. So do I.
There you go.
Roger Shue says, don't ever see Peter Blake dance.
And you don't want to.
Roger Shue says, Fat Mike, ESPN or the Score? What do you like better, ESPN or The Score, Mike?
I'm not going to comment.
Okay. Facebook user says they think they're using Big Papi because everybody likes him and he'll be the gateway for all other steroid users to get in.
That's David Moser, by the way.
I'm
what I
not
was
too
trying to
sure
get to.
that Big Papi used. That's just my opinion.
I'm not sure if
He
he
admitted it.
used either. Well,
I didn't know he
it's
did.
He admitted
come
it.
out. Well, no, it's come out lately from the commissioner of baseball that there were false positives. So who knows?
Kyle Nichol says, so big question in the world of professional sports, is baseball a dying sport? It seems like its viewership is either staying steady or going down compared to other sports, and there is something for Major League Baseball can do to attract more fans. Does the game need to change in some way? Yeah, just get another 10 or 15 Stu Steinbergs and everything.
Stu Sternberg, yeah.
Stu Sternbergs,
Yeah, I
everything
mean,
will be fine.
Roberto, do they need to cut down on the season?
No, that's a great
I don't-
comment.
I
Kyle
don't-
Nichol, I love that comment.
I don't think
So
they
a big
need to
question in
cut
the
down.
world of professional sports
on,
is
Mike.
baseball a dying sport? Yes, it is a dying sport. It seems like the viewership is either staying steady or going down compared to other sports. And is there something that the MLB can do to attract more fans? Yes, there is. Limit the fucking commercials, for crying out loud. That's the reason why baseball takes fucking 5 hours to watch a goddamn game. Because
Well,
I'm
it's
watching
also-
Viagra commercials and fucking juice commercials.
Well,
I don't wanna
Cialis
see that
and
shit. Play the
Viagra. I mean,
fucking
nobody
game.
wants Nobody
Roberto,
wants to
what's
see.
your opinion on
Yeah.
that?
Commercials, I know they got to pay the bills, but there's a lot of stuff that can be cut back. I think one of the things is the walk-up music. Some of these guys take forever just to step in out of the batter's box. I think the time clock, it's good. For pitchers, it shouldn't take you freaking 45 to a minute to throw a ball. I played with Steve Traxel,
Oh
and
my
he
God.
was the coolest human being on earth to get
Steve.
rid of the ball. It would take a minute and a half.
Yep.
If he played on a getaway game day, the first thing we would say, pick up the pace.
Yep.
Pick up the fucking pace, or we're going to get on your ass the entire flight.
Can you imagine?
I mean,
I can. I
I
can.
love the
Impressive.
blood
Yeah,
honesty out of it.
He played for the Cubs and he played for the Rays, and he was one of the slowest pitchers out there. And I think that's what they have
Gave
to
up the
do.
big
You're
homer
exactly
to Mark
right.
McGuire. Gave up the big homer to Mark
Roberto.
McGuire.
He did. He did.
Alan 1252's very own Alan Bratcher says that's wild. Ben Cornett says, by the way, steroid era saved baseball in the 90s. I'd have to agree with that. Alan Bratcher says, seriously, gold. Ben Cornett says, what do you call it when you see a couple of 40 and 50-year-olds dancing, seating down? No soul train.
That's a
Motherfucker, I'm not 40. Eat a dick. I'm not
40
40.
and 50.
Yeah,
Really?
I
Eat a
mean,
big
well,
bag of
what's
dick
that all
before
about,
that.
man?
I'm not
Really?
40.
Yeah, Ben.
Man, what's that talking about? What are you
Brent,
saying?
you don't know nothing about this
Yeah,
fuck, bro.
you know nothing about my age or how old I am.
Roger Shue says,
He's saying you
TB12,
look-
and he's only why he's got Giselle.
What does that mean?
And
That's
this
a
is
dumb
come on,
comment.
a whole bunch of German and Russian. Roger Shue says 12 inches, why he got
How
Giselle.
long?
Get it, Tom. Get it.
Sounds about
I
right.
ain't mad at you, Tom.
I just wish I was
Christopher
Tom
Cole
Brady's
says
middle finger for a
Cincinnati
day.
versus Frisco. Ben Cornett says Glasgow, don't be that Buck fan, dude. Andrew Faubert says,
Live and
damn, ha ha. What'd you say?
He said Sister 19 online there.
Oh, this fucking guy in his
What's
snowshoes.
Sister 19 LOL.
Sister 19
online.
LOL dot online.
Oh, jeez.
That's one for that.
Ben
Hold on, really
Cornett
quick.
says,
Keep
Peter,
that up.
you're
Keep that up.
43.
And felt like I'm 23.
That's for family.
So
That's
Fat
for
Mike.
family.
Time's coming to an
Yes,
end,
sir.
buddy. Tell everybody where they can find you, buddy.
You can find me here at 1252. You guys know where to find me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do this whole sprouting bullshit. You guys can find me here, but Vin Diesel, baby, family,
Yeah,
4'6"
about
with a
family.
2-foot prick, all day. No, thank you so much for having me on, Harry, Peter. I really do appreciate Roberto, Stephen Glasker. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'm gonna hang out in the back room and watch the rest of the show. Just kick me out. You guys know where to find me. I'm Fat Mike. That's all you
Deuces,
gotta do is
little
type in Fat
brother.
Mike Chicago.
Peace.
Good, Mike. Good to see you, brother.
Peace.
see you, Fat Mike.
Stephen Glasker.
You can find me in the club. Harry, I appreciate it, brother. It was great to be on the show again. Thank you for having me. Roberto, very nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure.
Phenomenal picture and
Thank
man, it's incredible insight. I'm so glad I was able to give it.
Thank you.
Tonight.
Thanks, brother.
Steven, have a good one, little brother. Hang out in the back if you want.
I will.
Roberto,
It's always a pleasure, guys.
the man, the myth, the legend with the plan.
Great insight tonight, Roberto. Thanks a lot. Always
No
love
problem.
talking to a real Major League Baseball player about, these issues that we just kind of just talk about, but you've been really giving us some great insight tonight about it. I love it.
I love it. And he's not ashamed.
Nope.
He's not afraid to answer the questions and
Nope.
stuff. I hope some of the questions weren't too tough to
No.
answer, but
No.
I still firmly believe that had you pitched in a different era, there had to be a certain amount of games. Roberto, there could have been another 20, 25 saves. There really could have.
Yeah.
Because of the opportunities to be
Yeah.
able to get into those situations, probably even
Yeah.
a little bit more, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Or if you would have played in a better organization other than Tampa to win
Mhm.
63 ball games.
Well,
and
there you
43
go.
saves.
That's
Yeah.
another thing. But you know what? Good for him. He played for the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Rays.
But you know what? I don't blame him for 20 million reasons.
Sure.
I can't play here too, bro.
But
Yeah.
then they traded him. I mean, that whole story in itself, but it's not surprising. That's the
Yeah.
way the Rays organization works.
Roberto, hang out in the back room. But seriously, my brother, thank you so much. We're going to get together here in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and end this show. Go ahead and sit in the back. I'll come right to you. Peter,
Yes, sir.
that was kind of rude to me. I didn't even get a chance. Roberto, get back down here. I didn't get a chance for you to say goodnight to everybody. I'm so sorry.
Good night, guys. It was a pleasure. It's fun. Keep me posted next time you guys want me on.
I can't wait. Baseball season's right around the corner.
We hope.
That's right. But not only a friend of mine, you're also a friend of the show. Mucho gracias, senor. You
De
have a great
nada.
family. You have a great family, and you're all. You know what's even better? It's not we're friends because he's a baseball player. We're friends because he's a genuine individual.
It's always good to have that.
Yes, it is.
So-
Roberto,
Peace,
talk to you in
brother.
a few. Peter, what a night.
What a night. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I mean,
Hey, listen, before you guys go, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Okay? Put this show on someone's timeline.
Yeah.
This is how we grow organically.
grow it.
Oh, Peter.
We're
We're not going anywhere else. We're going to go ahead and end this show.
Look at Roger. What's his comments here?
Where can I send the painted driveway pics?
Nowhere.
Roger Shoe. Harry only plays this for Mrs. Greek. You're damn right. Anyway, I want everybody to understand one thing. Let's have a really good weekend in baseball. Peter, can't wait to see you on Monday on the Sports Web.
Yeah, Monday on the Sports Web. I'll be here on Sunday watching the games with you.
Without question.
Yes.
And last but not least, I want to go ahead and tell everybody one thing.
Keep your bets low.
And your returns high. Who am I?
He's Harry the Greek.
And that's Peter Blake. Have a really good evening, everybody. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to say one thing. What are the 3 things?
Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, for Harry the Greek, I'm your host, Peter Blake.